I'm life. I live, I breathe, I feel. Now that you know it, can you really take it? Is it really worth the price? I pay it gladly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. And, yep. Sorry, medyo nag-ano lang ako ngayon. Pinapakinggan ko lang yung sarili ko. Dahil bagong mic ang gamit ko ngayon. But anyway, it's a Friday evening again and I'm back doing my live session, breaking down movies as tradition here in Zero Hour Discussions. My name is Jim Cruz. Welcome to our show, episode number 15. And we are about to discuss equilibrium. And before we do that, I'd just like to introduce my guest first. He is a conservative podcaster and also content creator. His name is Jay from the Jay Aruga Show. Good evening, Sir Jay. How are you doing?
Kamusta? Kamusta JM? Kamusta sa mga nanonood ng Zero Hour Discussions? How are you guys?
May ano na, may
Thanks for
nanonood na.
inviting me. Nga pala.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've expressed interest na ano kayo, i-invite kayo even way back pa. Pero may mga earlier shows kami na sa tingin
Mhm.
ko mas maganda sana discussion kung nandun kayo. Given the fact that I know what you speak of or what your content is right now, sayang. Pero at least we,
Thank
we
you.
got
Thank you.
we got something or at least a movie na maganda rin pag-usapan.
Oo.
Totally in line kung ano nangyayari ngayon. But before we go there, just like
Mm.
to say hi then kay Jay from Losing Street Gaming. Good evening. Also a content creator and also a gamer. Visit their page,
Mm.
Losing Street Gaming. Sir Jay, before we proceed, could you also at least give the viewers a brief hypnosis of what you actually do in your content?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Jay Aruga. I'm the host of the Jay Aruga Show podcast. So, we're in season 3 now and actually patapos na yung season 3. We'll do a season ender soon at mga pag-podcast break. So basically, the J. Aruga Show is a conservative podcast, and I take a little pride to be the first conservative podcast in the Philippines. Wala namang nang-aaway sa akin dun sa
Oh,
title na yon. Kaya,
mm,
so yun. So that's basically it. When we say conservative, usually Christian values. I'm a Catholic and I believe the Catholic moral teachings kaya most of the values based din doon. Kaya yun yung ano, yun yung pinaka brief background.
okay. Yeah, before I proceed, also a bit more questioning about the content. Si Sir Gerald from the Powerful Comics Man
Yeah,
show.
si
Data game
Comics
din siya.
Man.
Yeah. Good evening. Actually, nakita ko nga interview yung dalawa. It's very informative. Kung
Oo, siya yung
tutusin.
kausap ni Gerald. Oh. Tagal na nung binabalak namin yun eh.
Oo nga eh. Sabi ko,
Kaya nga.
pinanood ko to, wow, this is very rare na nakakita ako ng ganitong discussion locally sa ginagawa namin on my other channel.
Mm.
Na we are challenging the norm. Naging guest ko na rin si Sir Gerald. Tagal ng ano nila, parang 3 oras yata. Nawala na ako kasi may recording ako. Pagbalik ko, tuloy pa rin sila. Okay, sabi ko maganda to.
Mm.
Kahit ako din, I would like to have a very long discussion regarding the craziness of what's happening right now.
Ganun talaga
And this
yung
is actually,
podcast talaga. Yung long form, yun yung ano,
yeah,
yung dinadala ng podcast sa industry ngayon.
I think we
Mm.
also, all three of us are fans of the Joe Rogan podcast. So
Mm.
we
Mm.
know how long form stuff works. And
Yeah.
yung ingenuity, yung baging genuine kasi ng person, it just goes out of it talaga. The more that you talk, the more na nakikita mo yung side ng tao kung saan talaga siya, kung consistent ba siya sa sinasabi niya, and also how he answers the questions. And again, ang ganda ng episode yung dalawa. Hopefully may part 2 kayo. Hopefully.
Salamat. Okay.
So, when you say conservatism, sir, bakit parang hindi pa siya masyadong tawag dito, widespread dito locally? Why do you
Dito
think?
sa dito sa Philippines actually sabi nila social conservative tayo
Mhm.
mostly sa Pilipinas. The thing is hindi lang mainstream. Nagulat ako when I started the conservative podcast, unti-unti nakaka-meet ako ng conservatives, kapwa conservatives. Biglang doon ko na-realize na madami din pala who has the same values as mine. Pero hindi ko lang alam noon because hindi mainstream. And the reason na I took the label conservative is baka maunahan na dahil dahil
Yeah.
nung time na yon maybe 2 years ago sa Spotify, most of the podcast ang mga nagtatop ng podcast charts yung mga tungkol sa sex capades, hookup culture, or LGBTQ+. May mga iba, atheist podcast din. So, yun yung market ng podcast industry noon. There are few na religious like sila Bo Sanchez, meron siyang podcast. Pero on the conservative side talaga, on some moral issues and basically yung mga ilang right-wing issues kunwari sa gender ideology, hindi masyadong na
Yep.
i-discuss. For example, yun lang yung example, yung mga pro-life causes, walang masyadong podcast na nagdi-discuss nun eh. Kaya I decided to take the label na conservative. When I started the podcast, hindi naman ako nag-start as conservative podcast talaga nung una. Parang the same with any other podcast, parang everything under the sun yung yung mga topics ko noon.
Kaya nahanap mo yung niche mo na, okay, this is something that I really love, or at least yung passion ko na pag-usapan.
Mm.
I do follow a lot of conservative content creators.
Mm.
Sorry, ako din inubo ako. Like, Jordan Peterson probably would be one of the most prominent. And then Ben Shapiro, si ano din, sino pa ba to? Forgot yung pangalan niya.
Marami sa kanila, sa Daily
Steven
Wire.
Crowder as well.
Steven
For comedy.
Crowder.
Oo, for comedy. Steven Crowder. And I think, ano din, yung discussion kasi na ganito, that's why people don't dabble into it. It's because how dangerous it is talaga. How dangerous it
True.
is for people to understand and to have that challenge from the usual things na nakikita nila, naririnig nila. And also, good morning, brightest day. A friend of mine all the way from the West. So we have a
Hello,
bit of
brightest day.
US crowd going on here. Brightest day, good morning. Hope you guys are doing well out there in the US. We are about to discuss equilibrium in just a few introduction about conservatism, because this guy, brightest day, he's also entrenched in the quote unquote culture war. Done. They're very aware of what's happening, and so am I, because we follow the same circle. I
Yep.
follow kung anong ginagawa nila doon. So aware ako sa dangers of society na nangyayari sa West ngayon.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah.
aware ako. And it's something na hindi pinag-uusapan dito, again, because people are afraid to talk about it just because of being canceled.
Yep, yep. And if I may add, most
Go
of
ahead.
the people here nga akala nila when they're progressive eh. Pero ang hindi nila alam, they're on the early part pa lang ng progressive, while tayo nandun na tayo sa sa parang part na nagha-hindsight, looking at the hindsight na yung US kunwari, di ba? Na parang this is what we've done sa US and
Yeah.
medyo we regret most of the things we've done in this country.
Oh, yeah.
So most of the people dito nandun pa lang sila sa point in US history where they're starting these quote unquote progressive ideologies,
Movements or whatever.
movements.
Yeah.
Pero we have the luxury now. Yun ang lagi kong sinasabi sa podcast eh. We have the luxury now to study what happened in other countries. Kasi sa atin parang nag-experiment pa lang tayo. We don't need to do the experiment here because they did the experiment in other countries already. and we saw that it's not good. So
It's not working.
we're, yeah, it's not working. We're here to warn the dangers ng ideologies that they're pushing.
Again, ayan nga, sabi nga ni Bright State, this movie is prophetic and one of my favorites. Also, right now, it's probably in my top 10 na just because of how
Mm.
important it is. And in a few, we are going to discuss Equilibrium starting one of my favorite actors as well, Christian Bale and Sean Bean, kahit na sandali lang, sandali lang si Sean Bean na
Oo.
nandun. But we just like to
Siya ba
talk
yung
about
si
it.
ano sa Game of Thrones
Siya yun sa Game of Thrones. Yeah, si Ned
si
Stark, I think.
si Ned
Yeah.
Stark?
Every time Sean Bean, and also sa ano, Lord of the Rings,
Hmm.
nandun din siya. Namatay din siya dun. So, there's a trope pagdating kay
Lagi
Sean
siya
Bean that he
pinapatay,
always,
no?
yeah, he always dies except for, I think, Silent Hill.
Hmm.
Pero, yung ending kasi ng Silent Hill, I'm not sure if you're going to watch it.
No, I
Parang,
saw that. May isang
he
movie lang
didn't
siya.
die. He didn't die because physically, we didn't see him die. The problem is he went back into Silent Hill. So,
Hmm.
we don't know if he already died or what. But
Hmm.
yeah, on my take kasi on the culture war,
Hmm.
it's very, very dangerous for people to assume that being progressive is actually the right thing to do. Because,
Di
because
I
I,
I acknowledge the ano, I acknowledge the existence ng left, but
yes,
sometimes hindi nakikitang left where their limit is. They
mm,
don't know when they've come too far. Like on the right, we can say that nag-come too far yung right nung time ni Hitler, yung mga gano'n. So
authoritarian, totalitarian state.
so we can say that's far right. But on the left, they don't acknowledge uh yung point na wait, we're too far left already. But I
Mm,
do acknowledge the existence of the left, and most of, let's say, journalism kunwari, they're basically left wing yung yung nature ng journalism.
yeah.
They criticize the established order, and
Mm.
we need that to for a check and balanced society. On an ideal society, we need both
But
sides.
yeah, but what's happening is you're just seeing one side,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything's being co-opted right now.
Mm.
This is why another movie comes into mind. Yung recent one, ewan ko kung napanood niyo yun. It's Don't Look Up. Watch
Ay,
Don't Look Up.
and that's a very left-leaning
Yun
movie,
ang
I
hindi
think.
nila maintindihan. I mean, both of
Oo.
us would understand. Even Brightest Day would
Mm.
understand this because these guys are, they really know about the stuff that's going on out there. But when I watched that one, parang, oh my God, why? What? Which side are you
Oo.
actually pandering? Yun eh. Kasi
Oo
we
nga,
know,
oo nga.
we could see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who owns big tech? Who owns the big government? Who owns everything? It's mostly on the right, the left side
Mm.
of
Mm.
the spectrum. It's not the right. So,
Mm.
are you saying that the left side is causing much more harm? Kasi yun yung
Mm.
nakita ko eh. Parang, okay, so if you're going to pander on the left, you should make the right the bad people. In this case, sa movie na to, hindi. Kung talagang
Mm.
nakita na maayos. And doon ako
They,
natatawa na parang, sobrang eye-opening itong movie na to.
yeah,
Welcome to the club.
actually they seem to be painting the right as unscientific dun sa ano, sa Don't Look Up,
Okay.
'di ba? But
But
as we know now,
right naman, di ba?
medyo
Big
yung
tech is being handled by the left. So, why?
yeah.
Parang, di ba, si Elon
Uh,
Musk ba yung inaano ninyo? Kasi totally, Elon Musk is not a leftist guy.
mm.
Di ba? So,
Medyo recently in nung sa pagsunod natin kay Elon Musk, mukhang nagkaroon siya ng red pill moments,
yeah,
and mukhang, and when we say red pill, parang ito yung ano, parang
eye-opening.
nag-turn,
Mm.
kumbaga sa wrestling, parang nag-turn siya or something.
Nag-face turn siya in wrestling
Nag-face turn.
terms. It's
Ayun.
exactly what happened to John Preston in this movie.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened to him. So, let's go ahead
Okay.
and
Go.
discuss Equilibrium, ladies and gentlemen. Again, ang mga bida dito sa movie na to is we do have Christian Bale, total powerhouse. I
Mm.
think this is his ticket in getting the Batman role based dun sa ano niya, performance niya, personally. And you do have Sean Bean, Ty Diggs, Emily Watson as well, and also Angus McFadden. I can't pronounce his name as DuPont, yung father. Kuno,
Mm.
Father Kuno. So let's go ahead and start, Sergey. How was the reception of this movie watching it again, 2022?
Okay, let's get this out of the way kasi syempre ang pinaka-criticism sa movies, Matrix rip-off siya.
Yes,
So
again.
let's just
Go ahead.
get
No,
it out of the way. And when I watched this when it was out around 20 years ago na ba? Parang when was
yeah,
this?
actually, malapit na.
Lapit na mag 20 years. I
Yeah.
saw this movie the year it was released and hesitant ako nung pinanood ko siya kasi fan ako ng Matrix to a point na I named my my son Neo. So yun yung
Mm.
ganun ako ka-fan ng Matrix and yung mga anak ko fan din ng Matrix. And nung time na yon, I'm very skeptic kung maganda ba tong movie kasi parang it's obviously a Matrix rip-off, but I gave it a chance and I watched it and I see that yung theme ng movie is very deep and I liked it. May maganda rin yan, yung uh, there's a scene in the movie sa first part yung sinusunog nila yung Mona Lisa
Books. Yeah, the Mona
or
Lisa, yung
yung
painting.
Mona Lisa, yung paintings and it got me no I watched it again this week to review for this episode. And
Actually,
there
I just watched it again ulit kasi sabi ko, I need to rewatch this movie kasi hindi ko
mm,
napanood last week eh.
mm.
So, I need to rewatch it again kanina dahil sobrang dami ng trabaho. But sorry to cut you off, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So I watched it again and marami akong na-catch this time na hindi ko na-catch noon when I watched it 20 years ago. Uh, One is yung nung sinusunog yung Mona Lisa, Christian Bale, mukhang that's yun yung for me yun yung first na nag-ano sa kanya, nag nag-turn sa kanya, yung Mona Lisa. He is looking at it as if parang naantig siya sa beauty ni Mona Lisa, eh. Watch it again sa part na yun. Parang he was doing the robotic thing na parang let's burn Mona Lisa but I
Naging
feel na
curious
parang
siya.
naging
Mm.
curious siya.
Mm.
And that's something na we miss out sa culture natin ngayon, beauty. Because sa Catholic teaching, there are three transcendentals na tinatawag. The goodness, truth, and beauty.
Mhm.
And we know truth and goodness, we talk about that enough, but beauty doesn't give much of a rap uh, on those three among the three transcendentals. And I think that's one of the theme din na pinakita dito sa movie is the power of beauty because it's more feelings based, eh. So anyway, so that's my first take. Sa start pa lang nung ano yun, nung first 5 minutes pa lang yata yun ng movie.
May na-catch ka na kaagad that you didn't catch before. Like, that's the beauty of reviewing these old movies. You
Yeah,
get to see
yeah.
them in a different light, and I have to thank, as much as I could say na masama yung nangyari ngayon, but I have to thank that we are given the opportunity to at least reflect ngayon panahon na to and see kung ano pang mga things na hindi natin binibigyan pansin before. Ngayon, it goes up na, okay, so ito pala gusto kong gawin. Like this, kung ano ginagawa ko ngayon. Ito pala yung gusto kong gawin. Before, kasi, ano na ako eh, I was resigned noong 2020 na hindi ko nitutuloy ito eh. Pero, with my friends nga from the West, inspired me to continue it. So, I did continue. Ako naman, watching this again after a long time din, 7 years ko yung pinanood. Ano ba yung nag-hit sa akin ito? Kasi, I was looking for movies to watch and then I saw on YouTube again the scene when John Preston was about to release the dog. Tapos bigyan dumating yung mga police. That scene. So after nun, sabi ko, nga no, this seems to be a good thing to watch. And I remember this one being an eye-opening movie. Ano kayang effect ngayon kapag pinanood ko siya ulit? And I also got a copy of George Orwell's 1984, yung movie
That's what
na
I was about to
1984.
say, actually.
Yeah, yun nga. Kasi there's
Mala
comparisons
1984 siya.
talaga. Ang daming
Mm.
comparisons niya. Even kapag binasa mo yung libro, which hindi ko natapos, yung audiobook,
Mm.
ang daming references ng 1984 dito sa movie na to. Number one, yung buong propaganda nila na yung nag-speech si Father na we have defeated parang conflict and everything. But may trade-off yun. Kailangan mawala yung ability nyo to feel. Tapos tayuan. Di ba tumayo pa nga yung isang supporting actor. Pumalakpak pa. So yung
So,
part na yun, oh shit, sabi ko, this is 1984.
yeah. So sa mga hindi nakakalam, so sa 1984 galing yung concept ni Big Brother. Diba? So si Father, he really looks like Big Brother in this movie. So si Big Brother sa 1984 na book by George Orwell, he has eyes on everything. So meron silang camera na nakatago. Basically parang China. Sa China
Yeah.
may mga camera sa
Yeah.
sa paligid nakatago sa ilalim ng puno. So, yun yung isa din sa napansin ko sa movie. And if you first watch the movie, parang totalitarian siya, definitely, about totalitarianism. And I'm not sure kung anti-religion siya, I'm not sure. Kasi yung mga symbolism niya is, yung tetragrammaton is yung kay God, yun yung word. Yun yung yung I am what I am sa
Yes.
sa Exodus. So we call that the tetragrammaton. So yun yung tawag dun sa company sa movie. And then they call Father yung yung pinaka main villain nila, si Big Brother. Tapos cleric yung mga yung mga soldiers.
Enforcers.
So yung mga enforcers. So I'm not sure, parang they're parang pinalalabas nila that they're God at the very least. Hindi ko alam kung minamock nila ang religion, but at the very least pinapalabas nila na itong mga totalitarian government na to, they're God in that world. Kaya they're enforcing like no emotions, bawal yung emotions sa kanila, di ba? Yun yung yun yung magandang palaisipan sa movie Kasi they realized that emotions make parang ito yung cause ng lahat ng conflict.
Yeah.
In the movie. So that's what they suppressed. They repressed yung mga emotions. And kung emotion, according dun sa sa tetragrammaton, if emotionless na yung mga tao, wala nang conflict. So, yun. But I have a take about that later. I want to hear your thoughts naman dun sa sa totalitarianism.
In the main theme of this one is basically dismantling the authoritarian or the totalitarian regime. And I think both of us would agree that human emotion is actually a big problem. Because hindi na-check talaga ng tao yung emotions nila for the most part. So conflict and every negative and also positive side ng tao, it comes with emotion. What the movie is conveying for me is if you're way too much on the opposite side of negativity, what will happen is everyone will be in conflict with each other. So the best way for them to repress or suppress all wars, so stop all wars. Diba naikinig natin sa West yun, stop all wars, ganun, is to take control of people's minds, how they think, and also the emotions that they feel. So kapag na-control mo yung emotion ng tao, there's a bigger chance for them to be controlled mentally or even vice versa. And yun ang ginawa nila. Actually, hindi nga nila pinakita dito. Yun ang gusto ko malaman How did they create yung gamot? Gusto ko makita yun. How did they create Prosium? May clinical trials sila. Paano siya ginawa? Ano yung basis nila? Pero in a human, in a human perspective, sasabihin mo na, siguro nga tama yung ginawa ng tetragrammaton na tanggalin yung emosyon. Pero, again,
Mm.
they are controlling people.
Mm.
Once na you go against the narrative, and imagine that every day nilang ginagawa, may set time in a day na parang titigil sila just to take in prosome.
Right.
So
Right.
that's already authoritarian in a sense na
Mm.
bawal kayong mag-skip ng ganito ganyan because you will feel something else and will send the police over there to get your ass, and probably it's either na ka na ano yun, subject to combustion or something, or i-re-educate ka uli. So it's
Mm.
totally China-ish kung tutusin. Ganun yung ginagawa nila eh. And for me, it's really, kung gagawin natin to in real life, it's really impossible din. Kasi you're going to get a lot of pushback. And the negative side of that, makikita nyo kung sino yung gustong mangontrol ng tao. Which is madami. Ngayon pangalan,
Yes,
nakikita
yes.
niya, who controls everything? Who controls censorship? Who controls what you say or what you need to watch? Kaya nga tinigil ko manood ng TV. Kasi
Mm. Yeah.
pinapump nila everything para lang makondisyon yung utak mo na you need to watch this para ma-enjoy mo yung buhay mo.
Ito ngayon yung napansin ko in the real world, JM. So in the real world, which is the world that we're living in right now, people who are making emotions and feelings their god, sila yung totalitarian. Baliktad sa real world.
Yes.
So if I feel if I feel like a woman, dapat lahat kayo ay mag-agree sa akin and treat me like a woman. So in the real world, it's the opposite of what's happening in the movie Equilibrium. Doon sa
Mm,
Equilibrium, ang totalitarian, sila yung nag-suppress ng emotion.
yeah.
While right now, in
Right
the real
now,
world, feelings ang is king. Sabi nga ni Ben Shapiro, facts don't care about your feelings.
yeah.
Pero most of the, like in the big tech, sa media, I I I think yung feelings ang
Yeah.
pinapahalaga nila more than the facts, 'di ba? So
Hmm.
so yun yung napansin ko while watching the movie recently. It's the opposite in the
No
real world.
contrast yung dalawa.
Oo.
Pero they might be different, pero yung result is almost the same. Kaya
Yes,
tama yung
yes.
sinabi mo, yung progressive mindset na
Still
meron ng tao ngayon. It's just a start. Um,
they're yeah. They're trying to stop war by pointing at people na you're speaking hate speech. So
you're
yun
an
siguro yung
N-word.
attempt nila. Yun yung attempt nila to stop war. Sinusuppress nila yung free speech. Y- I guess. So totalitarian pa rin. So,
Doon
di
pa rin
ba?
pupunta yun. I'm not seeing
Oh,
anything good coming out of this. And
no, no, no.
people fail to acknowledge the fact that when naalala ko na naman yung interview ni Matt Walsh po siya. Tawa ako ng tawa nun.
Ganda
I
nun.
mean, maganda siya pero
Ni Dr. Phil ba yung tinutukoy mo yun?
no,
Dr. Phil.
yeah, I saw
Ang
that
ganda nun.
as an attempt din ni Matt na parang maging morally superior in a sense. Siguro dapat denial daw niya, but again, you cannot really
You cannot dial down.
rationalize with these people eh. 'Di ba parang tama yung ginawa niya. What does this mean? Hindi masagot.
Oo nga, di
Yun
ba?
lang yun.
What
What
is a
does this
woman, di ba?
mean?
Di, there, and ito, magdi-disclaimer ulit ako. I'm not picking on
Yeah.
our LGBTQ plus friends or listeners. Uh, pero there, I'm with you guys dun sa mga countries na you're oppressed and you're killed. May mga Muslim countries where they're killed eh. And I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. You shouldn't be killed for uh, your sexual orientation or your identity. But on some stuff, medyo we need to talk. I disagree on some stuff. Y- Yun yung yun lang yung sa akin.
Mm. There will always be disagreements talaga. Pero
Mm.
I think the base foundation of people to actually understand each other is to look for a common ground
Mm.
and then start from there. Regardless what your orientation is, regardless what you believe in.
Mm.
Siguro yung hindi ko lang talaga kayang pakasamahan yung mga pro-communist na fans.
Oh,
Wala talaga.
tama.
Mga mahilig sa
Medyo.
socialism. No.
Mm.
Yun na sa akin. And in relation to the movie, we could see how a totalitarian state gets control and have all the shots when it comes to
Mm.
leadership and even controlling everything, controlling your life basically. And John Preston is one of those people.
Yeah.
Sadly, he's part of the system that they think that he thinks actually works because of him being probably subjected with the Prozium drug and also with the propaganda in a very young age. Kasi sinabi din na he's
Mm.
a prodigy. Sobrang
Mm.
galing niya. He was able to detect people who have, sabihin natin, people who are sense offenders even before they
Mm.
speak. Yung sinabi sa kanya ni yung I forgot, yung nagpapanggap na father, or this yung leader nila. Forgot the name, yung ano niya, yung exact name niya nakalimutan ko. Ayun si si
Nakalimutan ko rin.
Highclere Dupont, yung ano niya,
Ah.
na yan yung nag-usap sa yung dalawa eh. Pero
Mm.
may tinanong sa kanya eh, sinabi niya no. Hindi niya, parang may mga stuff daw in life na hindi pa rin niya maintindihan.
Mm.
So, I think that's also a consequence of him not being able to feel reality.
Mm.
And sa tingin ko pa nga, through his eyes, nung ano pa siya gumagamit ng drug, through his eyes, everything is black and white.
Mm. Mm.
It's very obvious the way they set it up. Um,
Mm.
Kasi yung daily na nakikita na niya daily, di ba? Parang kahit
Mm.
sabihin mo na ramdaman mo na, parang may onti na yung reaction mo. The same thing nung rinape off niya yung yung sa salamin. Di ba? Yung tinanggal niya,
Mm.
nakita niya yung ilaw. I think
Mm.
there, parang sabi niya, ba't parang iba kulay nito, iba yung nararamdaman ko towards dito. And also, yung dinigay niya yung sa music box.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think doon talaga na buksan ng todo yung utak niya. Yung sa music box
Mm.
na
Mm.
wow, I've missed a lot.
Yeah.
And sige, meron pa ako ipo-point out mamaya pero mamaya ko na yun.
No,
And something
yun
na
yung
hindi
sinasabi ko.
napapansin ng tao.
Yun nga, yun yung sinasabi ko. Kaya nabanggit ko yung Mona Lisa. Parang nag-accumulate sa kanya yung appreciation for beauty. And yun yung peak doon sa music box. And
Yeah,
nabanggit mo yung communism nga pala. And naalala ko sa real world din, communism is the closest dun
that's totalitarianism.
sa totalitarianism, dun sa world nila, dun sa equilibrium. And may, nung una, nung pinapanood ko, hindi ko pa muna bibigay yung twist, pero nung nakita ko yung anak na nag-threaten na isumbong siya, di ba yung
Oh,
anak niya parang robot? Parang
yeah.
1984 din yung dating noon kasi sa 1984 yung mga bata ang ang spies. Sila yung nagsusumbong sa mga magulang nila.
Pwede pa kino-condition na rin nila yung mga ibang tao dito na parang
Mm.
kapag hindi ka sumunod sa government, lalo na kung anak ka, pwede. Or even vice versa, sumbong mo sa gobyerno.
Oo nga eh. Oh.
Diba parang, oh my God. How valid is it today na ginagawa nila to? How important na makita ng tao how much damage
Mm.
this would cause in the long run. Sige, go ahead, sir. Mukhang may sasabihin ko.
Hindi. Nagandahan lang din ako dun sa sa scene yung yung ang tawag ko dito yung parang John Wick scene yung sa aso.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Mamaya
sinisave
ate.
niya yung
Mamaya.
aso.
Kasi
Baka
leading to that, yun nga, yung
okay.
process ni John Preston, even nung sabihin natin, yeah, I think you're right with him being conscious and also curious. When he saw the Mona Lisa with Sean Bean, kay Partridge, kay Claire
Oh,
Partridge,
yeah.
na parang dalawa sa
Oo.
dalawa. And nung pinanood ko dito, kita mo kaagad na may iba nang ginagawa si Sean Bean.
Yes.
Because you could see even in the first invasion nila, na medyo hesitant na siya sa ginagawa nila. At tinitignan
Medyo
niya si Preston na, tama ba itong ginagawa natin? Ganun eh. And
medyo
people should
obvious
know.
si Sean Bean.
Sorry, go ahead.
Medyo obvious kasi si Sean Bean.
Yun nga eh.
Yeah.
And also people should know, yung pinakaunang supporting cast na makikita nyo dito is Dominic Purcell. Nandun din siya. Si Prison Break. So, nandun siya, di ba? You remember? Yung pinakaunang taong tumayo, yung balbas sarado. Si Dominic Purcell yun ng Prison Break. So, nagulat ako sabi ko, dito pala to. And I think ano rin siya, I'm not sure kung Sabretooth. Siya ba si Sabretooth? I think Dominic Purcell is also Sabretooth. People could correct me on that one. But, how good was that first scene? Yung first na invasion nila. Di ba yung
Hindi,
sinipa niya yung pintuan? Wow. Sabi,
ay, yung action dun sa part na
oo.
yun, no?
Pero in reality, patay ka na dapat nun eh. Kasi lumilipad yung mga bullets, kitang-kita na hindi tumatama talaga sa kanya eh.
Nagtaka ako bakit biglang dumilim eh. Kasi
Oo,
sinipa niya yung pintuan, dapat may konting liwanag dun sa
ikanting ilaw pa.
ilaw sa likod. Baka inutusan niya yung mga kasama niya, parang i-shut
Sarado
niyo
niyo.
yung sarado niyo kagad para maging
Oo.
total darkness.
I
So
think that
ang ganda nung scene
contributes
na.
din, di ba, yung badassery ni Preston. Po
Mm.
siya nag-gun kata kagad siya. In one place, nandun lang siya. And then gumagalaw lang yung braso niya. Kita mo lumilipad na yung mga tao. No?
Doon ako nagandahan sa movie nung I first saw this, yung gun kata, kasi unique yung action na ito, and yung hindi ko na search kung meron talagang gun kata na martial arts, pero kung meron man, unique yung pagkakagawa nila doon sa gun kata scenes. Kaya namangha ako doon nung napanood ko yung movie.
Well, unfortunately, nade-debunk siya. Hindi daw
Okay.
totoo.
Yeah.
Siguro siya, if gagamit ka ng sharp weapon, pwede. Pero gun,
Para
ang
siyang
hirap nun.
para siyang arnis nating mga
Oh,
Pinoy.
yes.
Yun yung dating
Or
niya.
maybe,
Pero may extension, pero extended siya kasi yung bullet mo yung parang nag-arnis
yes.
ka na may mahabang extension.
Pwede din what do you call this, yung nunchucks, pwede din. Anything na pwede mo i-extend na talaga, paikot-ikot, pwede mo itama doon. Pero ang hirap nun, kung sa bagay, that scene was just probably 90% CGI. Diba? Kinakita mo sa niya, parang, oy.
Kaya nga.
Pero it's fun seeing that, and then we discover in the long run na ano masasabi mo dun sa nag-uusap sa yung dalawa sa loob ng kotse.
Yun yung sinasabi ko na talagang
obvious na siya.
At that time, obvious na si Sean Bean na hindi ko kasi alam. Ang dating sa akin talaga noon, at some point, beauty will overwhelm you. Kahit na anong pagpapamanhid ang ilagay mo sa katawan mo. And tingin ko, it got Sean Bean. And kaya na, I think sa Mona Lisa talaga siya na, yun yung first instance na nag-strike sa kanya ang isang object of beauty.
That was actually going to be my question then, because if Sean Bean injected himself another dose of Prozium, how long has he not been taking this and also conditioning himself to feel talaga? So it seems to be matagal na niyang ginagawa. Kasi kung, di ba, Christian Bale himself or John Preston himself, ina-avoid talaga niyang gawin. Kasi alam niya anytime pag linagay niya, magiging dependent naman siya.
Yeah,
so, hindi ko mag-gets, yun ang hindi in-explain. Another gray area in this movie, plot hole, on how well-conditioned Errol Partridge is with being disassociated with the drug and also being able to control the effects of Prozium. Wala, hindi nila explain. Ganda sana nun. So, yung huling conversation nila dalawa, is there anything you could pick in that scene? Is there anything you remember dun?
Yung binaril na niya si Sean Bean sa ulo. Hindi ko maalala kung ano yung na-pick ko Pero at that time, parang yun yung start ng niya, ng downward spiral into, pag sinabi kong downward spiral, parang red pill moment niya. Kasi I'm not sure kung may pinatay pa siya after nun. Parang wala na Hindi ko maalala.
Well, may mga pinatay siya after nun. Pero,
Meron pa ba? Meron pa ba?
I mean, di ba may
Ah,
mga pinatay pa siya after nun?
hindi,
Obviously, some of the
yung ano na, yung mga pinatay na niya is yung mga ano,
pero
yung mga
within taking the drug, wala na
soldiers, di
yata.
ba?
Oo, wala na
Ah,
yata.
parang yun na yung last na ano na pinatay niya. And I think yun yung talagang start no ano nung pag yun yung tingin kong red pill moment niya kasi
Hmm.
di ba ang theme sa movie is parang nung napatay yung asawa niya medyo hinahunt siya di ba? The death of his wife. So hindi ko lang kung na-spoil ko na yung ano yung bandang
Oh, it's fine. I mean, this
part
is
na yun.
going to be a spoiler of something that we already watched years ago. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys, if you guys are going to tune in here late, but this is a 19-year-old movie na. Parang
Yeah,
ano,
yeah.
no? Napaka-surreal tignan na, 19 years na pala
Yeah
nakalipas.
nga.
And they
Cool.
could actually
Yeah.
make good stories 19 years ago kumpara sa nakikita natin ngayon.
Alam mo ito yung ano, hindi ko total puro spoiler na rin yung
Yeah.
mga pinagsasabi natin.
Mm.
So si A- Cleric Brandt,
Yeah.
yung kontrabida sa movie, the black guy, i- i- that time nung 90s, pwede pang maging kontrabida yung black guy. Now, dito sa ano sa present time, very very predictable ang mga movies ngayon because definitely laging white guy yung kontrabida ngayon
Laban.
and
Yeah.
black guys are always good. Kaya I'll give you an example. Kunwari sa Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, yung nandun si Peacemaker, si John
Mm.
Cena. Na-predict ko kagad na ano na si John Cena will betray
Turn.
them
Yeah.
because there are only two white guys sa movie. Yung isa si Rick Flag tsaka si
Siya.
Peacemaker. Oh,
Mm.
siya. Malabo si Rick Flag Kaya parang naisip ko parang okay, si John Cena. Malabo naman
Total
si Idris
ballsy
Elba.
movie yung ginawa nilang pinatay niya si Flag ako 2000. So,
Pero mukhang wala naman din future na yung DC movies.
wala na at this point. No, we could
Oo.
get into a conversation on that one. Si Brightest Day, alam na alam nila kung ano nangyayari. Kaya kahit ako, I have little to no faith in the MCU and also the DCU. Even the DC.
Anyway, going back to this movie, yun yung isa sa napansin ko. I enjoy watching movies from the early 2000s because unpredictable ang plot. Anyone could be the villain. Dahil right now, because of identity politics, there are certain rules now wherein, let's say, an LGBTQ plus character cannot be the villain anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're pushing an agenda. A black guy cannot be a villain anymore. It's most of the time a white male ang villain. May isa pa akong example yung Army of the Dead, yung kay
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Alam mo kagad na yung white guy yung villain dun dahil siya lang yung nag-iisang white guy. And moving forward, pansinin niyo to sa mga movies ngayon. It's always the white guy na villain.
I have a friend yata. Someone connections mo.
Yes. Si Catholic Coffee Servants. Kamusta?
Good evening. The
Thanks
Catholic
for
Coffee Servants.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Stay
Alright,
tight.
back to the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still discussing equilibrium for the people watching right now. I think we have 4 people watching. Good evening, Ode. I'm with Sir J. Aruga of the J. Aruga Show talking about equilibrium. Let's go ahead back to the movie, sir. May sinasabi pa kayo kanina, sorry.
No. Let's go back sa movie. Where did we stop? So
we stop with yun nga.
So go ahead.
Yung binagay siya sa ulo and then may sinabi si Aaron Partridge na John Preston said I'm sorry. And then sinabi ni Partridge na no, you're not. Hindi ba sabi niya, you don't even know the meaning. It's just a vestigial word for a feeling that you have never felt, which is ang lakas sampal sa mukha nun. Kung naintindihan talaga ni John Preston at the time, but I don't think he did because wala siya naramdaman And then the death of his friend, I think at that time magkaibigan talaga sila. He can't deny. Dahil yung remorse niya later on, sobre. Going back to moving forward pala, so nagkaroon siya i-discuss natin yun si Brad because he's actually a very interesting character here and you could see
Yeah,
siguro yung
yeah.
yung effects ng Prosium
Mm-mm.
kay Preston is already wearing off. It's either that or Brand is actually controlling yung Prosium intake niya. Kasi
Mm-mm.
unlike John Preston and also yung ano pangalan na mental block ako nung father.
Nakakalimutan kayo. I refer
Siya yung
mas
nakakalimutan kong
father na lang.
pangalan eh. O, nakikita mo, both of them, you cannot see emotions in their face.
Yeah.
But when you look at Brand, kitang-kita mo na may emotion siya.
May emotion si Brant eh.
May part na sinabi siya nun eh, na nasa coaches yung dalawa na, I need to go back to have my Prosium dose adjusted. So, okay, so ano to? Is he a spy or something? Kasi di ba may sinabi din si father na may isa daw agent na ina-attempt parang i-co-op yung other side, yung rebellion, by using their own tactics against them. Like, yun nga, malaman din nung agent na yun kung paano makiramdam. Is it Brand? Kasi yun ang sinabi niya eh, wala tayong alam. Though we know in a perspective of, in John Preston's perspective, he could be that guy. Inadvertently, he could be that guy yung sinasabi ni father. Pero I doubt it. Kasi parang hindi naman pinaplano eh. So, hindi rin alam ni John Preston na ganun yung gagawin. And Brand is very interesting. Because every time na may ginagawa si John, lagi siya may follow-up. It's like he knows what's happening sa kanya.
He does. Tas parang may scene nga na parang sinasalo niya si John Preston, di ba? Nung dinadrive niya yung mga rebellion. Parang pinaparun niya. May Batman voice nga siya nun eh. Parang, run! Sinasabihan niya na mag-run yung rebellion.
Even before that, kaya sinabi ko yung makikita natin yung effect ng Prosium na nawawala na, and why I think John Preston is looking at the lens of everything in black and white. You could start with their next invasion na parang si Brand na yung nag-head, di ba? There's a scene there na parang may kanto. And then sabi ni Brand sa kanya, cover me. Tapos bigla may pumasok. Binaril niya. Tapos sinalo. Good catch, Preston. Tatawa ako ng tawa nun eh. Parang,
yung babae, no?
Hindi, yung lalaki. Yung matanda. The old guy.
Okay.
And then, John Preston is having eye contact with that dead person na parang hindi niya alam kung anong sasabihin niya. He probably overwhelmed the emotion na why is this happening? And then once the dead body goes down, tinignan niya kagad yung kamay niya. And initially we don't see blood anywhere. Progressing to the movie, unti-unti mo na nakikita yung mga dugo. Which I think is a subtle hint na before John Preston could not see or define what blood is. He doesn't see the color of it. Parang normal na lang sa kanya. Pero pansin mo, after he died again, if you guys want to watch it again, make that observation also. When the old guy died, tinignan niya yung kamay niya, panay dugo na. And ever since then, nakikita na natin yung dugo ng mga tao. You could see that. When you go back to the Mona Lisa scene, you don't see any blood pouring out. Even yung binabaril nila. Which na, parang, walang dugo dati. Are we looking at the eyes of John? Or is it something na nagkamali lang ba yung continuity nitong story nito? But I don't think kasi progressively nandun na until the very end. Diba nung scene na yan?
May mga dugo.
Nakikita na yung dugo.
Oh, that's a good take. Hindi ko napansin nga yun.
Try mo tignan ulit. Progressively, padugo ng... Di ba, pati nga yun sa leeg niya, di ba?
Nagiging madugo.
Di ba yung leg scene, yung final scene, meron na siyang cut sa leeg. Saan galing yun? So, the red pill moment or waking up to the reality moment was already progressing to the phase na he could not turn back anymore. What is your take, sir? Sabihin natin, medyo forward natin. What is your take regarding Prosium?
Nako, parang vaccine yan. Pero hindi naman emotions yung tinatanggal ng COVID vaccine, pero
no.
Pero Pero if you're compelled to take Prozium, parang parang malapit siya sa sa vaccine mandate natin ngayon.
It is.
Medyo may pagka-totalitarian din yung dating. Like recently uh, inano mo ako tinrap mo ako para pag-usapan yung vaccine mandate eh.
Eventually, lalabas din tong usapan na to within this day. So, unahan na natin.
So yung i- yung Prozium sa movie, they have to take it. So yun yung yun yung parang may schedule sila 'di ba sa movie. And naisip ko nga, it seems like sa in the world parang ganun nangyari eh. You take the first 2 dose or 1 dose ng vaccine and every interval kailangan mag-take ka ng booster shots. And you have to dahil hindi ka makakasakay sa mga public vehicles kung hindi ka makakapasok sa mga malls kung hindi. So,
Yeah.
sinasabi na there is no vaccine mandate but hindi ka pwedeng gumawa ng mga ordinary things that a Filipino can do kung hindi mo iti-take yung vaccine. And nagbiro nga ako sana sa Facebook one time eh. Tingin ko ang laman ng isang vial ng vaccine is karapatan. Kasi pag sinaksak sa'yo, mabalik na sa'yo yung karapatan mo bilang Pilipino eh. Yun yung yun ay kita ko na another thing na malapit sa real world. Kaya tama yung sinabi ni Brightest Day na medyo prophetic itong movie na to. So, yun yung take ko. I know people na hindi makapagbenta or their vendors, mga hindi naman sila hindi sila masyadong mayaman or something. Their livelihood is selling, vendor sila. Kailangan lang lumabas ng bahay but pinipigilan silang lumabas ng bahay unless magpa-vaccine sila. So, it's kind of sad.
No, I mean, din eh. It has to do with social conditioning when you look at it in yung sa movie. Social conditioning in the sense that katulad nung pinakita nga prior, may propaganda wings sila every 'di ba? Every afternoon, di ba?
Oo. Tama no, parang 1984 din na
Yes.
nangyari din ngayon, may social conditioning. Kinuwento lang nila kung why did they come up with that idea to take away all emotions. Pero maganda makita, let's say, yung prequel leading up to it, di ba? It's interesting.
Yeah, I think leading up to it is
malaman
World War III. Di ba? Yung sabi nila after the events of World War III, they figure out the best way to stop all wars is to take out all human emotions. Kaya yun yung naging result nila. But how the hell did they suppress that? Who the hell agreed with that in the first place? Was it the majority of the people who agreed with that? Or was it taken by force? Which I think ganun nangyari. It's like an invading force na it's like the World Economic Forum na sinasabi na nila kung anong kailangan gawin, which na yun nga pinag-usapan namin na Sir Comics Man recently about the Great Reset. But it's really hard to mandate. Even yung, alam mo yun, parang ang pinaka-scary pa doon, there's a specific time when these people are taking in Prozium. Sabay-sabay pa sila. And when you go home, even your own son is monitoring you if you've taken it or not. Which is, mamaya konti, discuss namin yung anak. Because it's a very good MacGuffin yung anak niya. And,
kaya nga, that baffles me. How does a society turn into totalitarian? And nangyari to through world history. Nazi Germany, parang paano nangyari yun? it's obvious na masamang pumatay ng
Kapwa.
tao, pero bakit dumating sa point ang Nazi Germany na parang majority accept this na parang this is the world order. Ito yung dapat natin gawin. And tama ka, propaganda is a part of it. Siguro yung media. And ngayon, maswerte lang tayo na there's social media, although hawak pa rin ng big tech yung whatever
Mostly,
you
yeah.
can say or not. Pero mostly, may mga nakakalusot. Kaya siguro may mga thinkers na nagdi-dissent on the bigger narrative.
Yeah.
Pero paano kung walang Facebook or let's say, paano kung mainstream media lang yung pinagkukuhanan natin ng information right now? Siguro lahat ng mga lahat ng mga narrative about let's say the vaccines or any ideology na filter siguro sa atin. At tayo pa yung magmumukhang conspiracy theorist if we dissent, di ba?
Well, we
Yun
are
yung ano.
in face value. We are.
Oo nga. Oo nga. But right now, since medyo may mga sources that sasabihin nila parang fake news yon or parang uh, ano yung term na yun? Parang we fact check this information and they control the narrative at least. But right now at least may mga nakakalusot na narrative. Google's heavily controlled ngayon. Pag sa search ako ng let's say let's say pag sinearch mo yung BLM riot, ang lumalabas hindi na yung mga
Nangyari
nangyari
dati. Yeah.
dati. Parang mostly parang yung January 6 na Capitol riot yung yung lalabas. Tapos BLM sobrang liit na lang na na search hits.
Kasi they need to suppress any other information that is not inclined with whatever they say, because what happens when you give more facts against the narrative, you get to see easily that, quote unquote, the emperor has no clothes. It's the
Yeah.
same on what happened here in this movie,
Yeah.
going to the end.
Mm.
So, just going back to what we're talking about kanina, ayun nga, my take regarding Prosium, it's a very ambitious thing to do. Again,
Yeah.
tama ka. Throughout history, we have a list of people who are very authoritarian, communistic, like yan, sila Mao, sila Lenin, Stalin, yung ideology ni Marx, which na hindi ko pa masyado tinitignan, pero I somehow I am aware of what Karl Marx wanted to do. And it's always going to be, even this movie, it's always going to be under the guise of doing the right thing for the greater good.
Yeah, definitely.
Diba?
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Good intentions.
so
And
definitely ganun.
I had this discussion before on online spot. Medyo onting tatangent na tayo. Online argument with this person in Twitter na kasi rinipost ko yung nangyari last year. Marami nangyari in 2020 din. 2020, sorry. And parang sinabi ko na, ayun nga, China is obviously a communistic society. Biglang kinounter ako na, oh no, kasi China didn't do it right. Sabi ko, okay, so what do you mean that they didn't right? It's not aligned with Karl Marx's theory of communistic ideologies. It didn't. Here's the funny thing. You called me out on something I believe in, and then siguro tama ka in a sense na no one did communism right. Kasi if you look at communism talaga, it's good on paper, pero the execution of that is very bad. It's going to be worse than what you expect. Pero for you to
Mm.
tell me that China is not a communist country, so that's a whole load of BS. And then, nakita ko sa list na yon, nag-pile up
Mm.
yung mga tao, nag-comment against sa kanya na, what do you know about a totalitarian state? What do you know about this like that? As may nagtanong pa nga sa kanya, are you happy to have your rights being taken away by society? No. So obviously you're not even a pro-communist person. Why are you, parang binabara na siya. Dahil
Mm.
as much as I like to say, yun nga, I'm a big advocate of free speech, then nawawala ka rin kasi yung common sense ng tao. So it's equally as
Mm.
dangerous as suppressing free speech.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the cost of free speech.
Yeah, yeah,
Parang
it is.
may mga uh, stupid ideas
Yeah, like
na
the
kailangan nating
leftist.
entertain. Mm.
If people are aware of the leftist people, like Hassan Piker and everything else, na parang sobrang ano nila, push sila ng ganito ganyan, and they're gonna push socialism. And napansin ko sa mga nagpo-push ng socialism agenda are the people na sobrang yaman. So hindi nila mararamdaman yon once na mangyari nga yun. And
Actually, konti lang yung outright magpo-push ng communism.
yeah,
Marami ang magpo-push ng socialism, specifically maybe the democratic socialism kind.
yeah, which
So,
doesn't exist. Which doesn't exist.
sabi nila yung mga Nordic countries. So yun yung ano nila.
Oh,
Although yung mismong prime minister ng, I'm not sure kung Denmark yon, nagsabi siya na, we're not a socialist society.
diba?
We're a free market. So, inano nila.
Talagang inaano nila. And
Binara nila.
siguro medyo lumayo na tayo sa movie, pero have you heard na yung Norway, kasi may kaibigan ako doon, Norway is also in talks with the Taliban right now.
Ay, hindi ko na.
Oh yeah, you have to look it up.
Ay,
Ayoko muna i-spoil sa'yo.
sige.
Tawa ako ng tawa nun.
Ayun. If we'll go back sa movie,
Yep. Yeah.
yung okay. Hindi, kasi a lot of the real world things that are happening right now, they reflect the movie. Kaya lang tayo na nag-go back and forth between the movie and the real world. Hindi ko na nga alam kung ang pinag-usapan
It's
natin is
relatable
yung movie pa o yung real world eh.
Because it's reflecting of what's happening right now. This is the same
Kind
thing
of, yeah.
that we did in They Live. Yung kami nila derailing rails na nandito siya. I had a 6-month panel, and it's hard not to compare what's happening in real life when tinitignan namin yung movie na yun. Kasi it's obviously almost the same, pushing propaganda, using the news to signal boost whatever kailangan ipakita nila na, alam mo yun, para makita ng tao na, okay, you need to follow this, you need to follow that. That's obviously happening right now. So, ang hirap. But yeah, I think marami pa tayong pwede pag-usapan dito. Hopefully, marami ko natin yung movie as a whole din. When they captured yung asawa ni Partridge, you remember that scene?
Yun yung sinasabi ko, yung pinigilan niya yung baril ni Brandt, di ba?
Yes,
Parang
yes.
akala natin na natamaan niya, pero yung pala nakataas yung baril. So parang let's take her for questioning. Ang ganda nung sinabi ni nung what's her name? Siya ba si O'Brien? Yung name ng girl.
Really terrible at names.
Nung sinabi niya, ang ganda nung sinabi niya na
si Mary O'Brien.
Why do you exist? Parang it seems like circular yung existence mo. You exist to continue your existence. Diba?
Kasi diba, kaya niya kinounter ng ganun kasi what John Preston said is the typical spiel na binibigay sa kanila. I exist to uphold the rules of a good society or something like that by continuing the rule of the Tetragrammaton. And then, okay. So you don't know what existing is. You really don't know what existing is. Sabi ni, basically yung sinabi ni Mary sa kanya.
Pero yung sinabi niya is, sila, they exist to feel. And okay naman, maganda naman na. Maganda, it's a good reason for existence to feel. And when I was young, I gave this much thought. Parang, bakit ba tayo nabubuhay kung no matter what we do, mamamatay din naman tayo. And ano to, medyo, when I was thinking that, because I was an atheist nung early life ko, when I was in college, and I turned Catholic after 18 years of
Being an atheist. Yeah.
being an atheist. So nung time na atheist ako, I was thinking like existentially yung why do we exist?
Mm-mm.
Uh, do we exist just to die? Parang kakain tayo para i-poop lang itong kinain natin. Why are we
Yeah.
prolonging our existence? And nung atheist ako, ang one reason that I thought of to prolong the parang at least maging meaningful ang existence is to at least be happy, to feel happiness, to strive for happiness
Mm-mm.
the whole time na you're existing in this world. So that was at that time, yun yung naging purpose ko, at least to be happy. And eventually, mahabang kwento, pero I realized na if my existence is to be happy, yun yung purpose ko. Paano mangyayari na ano na kung my happiness contradicts another person's happiness? Hindi pwedeng yun yung ano yung existence niya, parang
Mm-mm.
'di ba? So kinailangan ko that time i-refine yung reason for existence. So at that time, I said to myself na I exist to be happy as long as wala akong ibang taong nasasagasaan with my
Yeah.
happiness. So it's an arbitrary rule, but I came
Yeah.
up with that rule that time. So yun. And may flaw pa rin yun, but uh, maybe let's stop there muna. So yun
Yeah.
yung ano. Okay, go ahead.
And it's really hard not to compare in real world kasi almost everything that's happening within equilibrium is comparable to what's happening in the real world
Mm-mm.
talaga at this point. Even sabihin natin a few years back, the realization that there's another existence, nandun yun eh. Everything nandun eh. Pero I think Mary was very instrumental for him to realize that there's a lot more in store for him if he doesn't take the
Mm-mm.
drug. And the mere yung mga little nuances na pinapakita doon, yung inaabot nila yung binibigay niya yung what do you call this, yung perfume. Example, first time na nakahawak siya sa isang babae na hindi niya alam kung paano mag-react talaga. So, pinakita rin yun the next time na pumunta siya, parang binigay na niya yung perfume, and parang may binigay din sa kanya na yung parang tali yata or something, yung ribbon. So may he's setting up his emotions to control to feel na okay, so there's another female here, siguro mararamdaman ko yung naramdaman ko sa asawa ko, kung ano ba talagang pakiramdam, or how does it feel to be in love of sort, kasi wala naman ng asawa yun siya namatay na eh. And eventually the downfall of that na hindi ko ina-expect yun, napapatay nila yung babae. Hindi ko ina-expect na mamamatay si Marie. It's always,
Akala
if
ko
you see
aabot siya eh.
yeah,
Tumatakbo siya.
and it's very powerful because medyo nag-fast forward na tayo. I think wala naman na masyadong significant in between nun.
Okay na yan.
except yung training scene na parang tinitignan niya. Na, again, yung head council nila nandun. And ano na naman ginagawa niya? They're prompting in propaganda dun sa nagpa-practice ng gun kata. Diba? Parang, okay, so everywhere kailangan, we need to make this obvious, ang tawag dun? We need to make this obviously very flawed tactic to make people believe with the lies na ginagawa natin. So, kailangan natin i-maintain yon in order for people not to forget that what we're giving them is the truth. Pero yung totoo, meron pang, hindi talaga yun yung totoong mundo. So, going back to Mary, nung trinay niyang habulin, or maybe going back a little bit back, we also see funny thing
Mhm.
na yung inayos niya yung table niya. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yun yung naalala ko, 20 years ago or 19 years ago. Yun yung scene na pinaka-naalala ko hanggang ngayon. Yung inaayos niya yung
Diba
table niya.
parang okay. And then dumating
Pinapalapit
si
niya.
Brad. Dumating si
Oo.
Brad.
Yeah, what are you
Diba?
doing?
Doon ako natawakan nung
Ina-optimize niya.
pinanood ko uli. Yun nga, I don't have any feeling about it. I'm just merely optimizing. Parang doon ako natawa. Parang may mali sa
Alam mo,
script na yun.
tama. Alam mo, na-realize ko, yung table ba nila is ordered like that dahil wala silang feelings. Tas parang
Hinayaan lang nila.
nagkataon lang na yun yung positions ng mga gamit sa table niya dahil wala siyang feelings o parang inuutusan ba talaga sila
Sila.
to
Na ganun.
put
Oo.
it there. Kasi
I think, let me
hindi
ask
naman
you.
siya
Let me
sinita
ask
ni
you.
Brandt eh.
Based on totalitarian regime and also communistic regime na alam mo,
Hindi,
what do you think?
extreme kasi yun eh. Extreme kasi
No,
yun.
pero this is already an extreme scenario, di ba? I mean, you're
Oo.
giving people drugs in order to
Kaya
control
nga,
them.
kaya. Oo. And naging obvious tuloy siya na he's
Parang
at the
iba ka
brink
eh.
of a
Di ba?
sense crime na, di ba?
Oo.
Oo,
What are you
naging
doing?
obvious.
Ganun, di ba? What
Kaya
are you
nga.
doing?
Oh, what are you doing? Pero mukhang hindi naman bawal. Yun yung that's the point that I'm making. Mukhang hindi naman bawal galawin yung nasa table. But yun lang yung consequence ng pagiging emotionless nila. I guess. So yun yung,
Yeah.
yun yung point.
Mm.
Parang na-realize niya, bakit ba nandito to? Bakit hindi ko pwedeng i-rearrange? Mukhang hindi naman bawal gawin. Parang consequence lang.
Mm. Oh, yeah,
So,
also, sorry to interrupt, sir. Sibling vlogs. I'm not sure whose contact is this, but thanks for hanging out. And also, hello. We now have
hello.
7 viewers. And thank you so much for being here. Guys, we're talking about Equilibrium featuring Christian Bale. And we also just a warning to people from the West or friends from the West, probably in the US. We will also be talking in our native language, which is Tagalog. I apologize in advance if there's some stuff that you don't understand, but in essence, all you have to know is we enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about it right now. So going back dun sa the table thing, I think it was very funny to see the reaction of Brand. Okay, so what are you doing? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you still have Christian Bale in his poker face. Na this is why I said there could be something wrong with the scripting on this one, because why are you going to tell him that I was merely optimizing? I'm sorry, I don't feel anything about it. I'm just merely optimizing. Doesn't that sound a bit defensive? Di ba? Parang,
Oo
that was
nga.
really defensive. Okay, so, and we,
That,
sorry, go ahead, sorry.
no. That's why I think na hindi naman siya bawal talaga galawin.
Yeah,
But,
I get it.
oo.
Pero, di ba parang,
Yeah.
hindi ba siya aware na parang binabantayan na siya ni Brand at this point? Kasi I think this was after nung ano nila eh. Or maybe before pa siguro. I mixed up yung
Pero,
part na yung sparring na ng dalawa. Be able to, for him to see na it's my job to know how you feel. Diba yung sinabi ni Brad sa kanya sa sparring session.
I think I think aware na siya na binabantayan na siya ni Brandt at that point. Kaya
Yeah.
nga ginawa na niya yung mga measures, like in exchange niya yung yung gun nila at yun yung big twist dun sa movie eh. so
Yeah,
so
I remember
I
that.
think that's one of the reason kung bakit nagsimula na siyang mag-isip ng mga measures to pin Brandt down, di ba?
Yeah. There's a continuity error in this movie. Ngayon naalala ko na. Because, sorry I think doon na rin tayo pupunta eh. Remember the scene where way past ng dogs na to eh. So, he was about to release I think the beagle or the dog. And see how viciously he murdered John Wick style, or maybe John Preston style, those soldiers.
Yeah.
Another thing that actually puzzled me is why didn't these soldiers actually identified him immediately as John Preston? Is it because iba yung mukha na nakikita nila.
And dito papasok yung ano, yung sinasabi mo na maybe they're seeing things as black and white.
Yes.
And because they don't have much feelings, wala silang masyadong like attachment to any cleric, kaya they find it hard to recognize each cleric from the other, di ba? Parang I think that could be a plausible explanation, di ba?
And why are they always demanding for the ID? Knowing if you know a cleric, you should know how they dress. You should know what their car looks like. It's like nothing. So yun nga, it might be an effect of the drug, but that's not the continuity error that I'm seeing.
Kung
If
babalik
you know,
tayo sa kung babalik tayo dun sa sa animal massacre scene.
Yun nga, yun before. Okay, sige.
That's before, di ba?
Yeah.
It's curious na ang dami ng pinapatay na tao. I guess marami siyang nakitang mga taong minamassacre in a day. Pero talagang dun
totally
sa
desensitized.
Desensitized siya sa mga taong pinapatay. I think before nun may scene na may pinatay ng mga tao yung minassacre.
Yeah.
Pero nung minassacre ang animals, yung mga aso, doon siya nagkaroon ng feelings, di ba? Parang yun yung ano lang, something to note. Wala akong anything na parang ang weird lang na ano. Siguro there's something cute sa mga animals na hindi mo matiis na hindi sila mapatay. Kaya yun yung
I'm a big animal lover, to be honest.
Yeah. I know. That's fine. Ano lang, parang you see people na pinapatay the whole time. Talagang doon sa minassacre na animal siya
there's a lot of emotions flowing.
Emotions, di ba? So
I think he had some emotions when he saw the old man die. But that's the extent na nakita ko. We didn't see him really, maybe because umatras siya. He went out of the scene when, you remember the rebels, ginagawa na niyang paraan para makatakas. We didn't see his real reaction except for anger.
Although after na, di ba? After na yun, medyo pinatay. After na yun, nung pinatay niya yung mga soldiers nung hinarang siya dun sa aso scene.
This is the continuity error na nakita ko. Parang they mixed up a scene. Kasi kung tutusin, how did they discover that Brand had his gun nung pinatay niya yung mga police? But Brand gave his gun a scene after that one, which is the tawag dito, yun nga, yung the rebel scene, escapes of the rebel scene. So parang may continuity error doon. Dapat mas nauna ba yung dapat, 'di ba? Mas nauna ba dapat yung rebels before?
How did they know na
yun, sinabi ni Father that ito yung ginamit nilang barrel to kill the
may ano ba yung bullets? May
yes, meron, 'di ba?
number.
Sinabi yun parang ganun. So parang sinabi ni Father that the gun used to kill the soldiers was one of our guns. And then
although it seems na after nung scene na nagpalit silang baril, parang may mga pinatay pa rin yata siyang soldiers noon.
Pero parang hinighlight nila na yun doon nga sa labas ng city daw nangyari. Yun na naman na nakita natin na event na labas sa city. Kasi
tama.
Binigay na niya yung doon ako natawa. Also another thing isn't Brandt very stupid na he gave your gun on one hand and he gave you a different gun on the other hand. Parang okay. All right, sige. So matalino si Preston.
We'll need to suspend our disbelief there. Tsaka para mapalitan mo yung baril, dapat dalawang baril yung di ba? Papalitan mo.
Yeah.
So isang baril lang yung
That's fun to speculate na nangyari doon. Could be an error, could be deliberately ginawa nila, pero what can we say? It worked. Probably. Na hindi mo nahalata. Yun, it worked.
Nagkunwari lang sila na nag-work yung Kasi there's a
Hindi
twist
nila
within a
aminin
twist
eh.
eh.
Oo, hindi nila aminin kung mali
Oh,
talaga kasi if
kasi
it was
there's a twist within the twist dun sa
yeah,
movie. So they're just maybe nag-act lang sila na gumana yung yung ginawa ni Preston na
let's
pagpalit
just
ng barel.
ride into the situation
Let's
now.
try
Yeah, sige, ginawa talaga
actually
namin para sa loob nila. Mali
parang
kami.
alam mo medyo stupid yung ginawa ni Preston. Akala na niya hindi natin papansin pero magkunwari lang tayong lahat na na we buy into his charade na si Brandt. Alam naman nila eh dahil in the end parang kakampi pa rin ni Brandt si Father, di ba?
Yes. Mm-mm.
So there's a twist within a twist eh. So
Mm.
medyo
Parang,
plausible na na ganun yung
yeah,
nangyari.
plausible liability na kanila. And yun nga, yung pagligtas niya dun sa dog, it's actually one of the best scenes in this movie. I think you would agree. Kasi you have this person that already disassociated himself from the drug. And then immediately, when tinutukan siya ng shotgun, all the training went back
Ay,
in.
oo. Ginano,
Oh.
inano yung shotgun tapos bumaliktad.
You could see in his face na kabado
Oo.
siya, biglang putik Terminator look.
And yun yung mga magandang scenes sa movie na na-enjoy ko. Yung parang makakaligtas na yung bida. Parang, nakalusot na. Parang mukha na nila na si John
Yep.
Preston ako. Tapos
Tapos biglang,
parang, oy dog, tumahimik
Dog,
ka.
what?
Parang, you're at the edge of your seat. Parang ganun.
They doubled down on the opportunity na, we need to create a good action scene out of this one.
Yeah.
No one goes home unscathed. So
I love those kinds of scenes sa mga movie. Yung tipong akala mo makakalusot na. Tapos, Di pa pala. May scene doon yung kay Tarantino na movie, yung si Leonardo DiCaprio and
Hateful Eight?
Unchained, Django Unchained. Django Unchained, di ba? So may scene doon na kahawig niyan na parang makakalabas na sila si Leonardo yung bad guy, di ba? Tapos si Christoph Waltz tsaka si Jamie Foxx. So, mag-shake hands na lang humingin lang ng shake hands si Leonardo eh. Parang, okay, let's shake to that. Ang gagawin na lang ni Christoph Waltz is i-shake na lang yung hands ni Leonardo. And they're all saved. Makakalabas na silang lahat. Walang casualty. Pero no, hindi ba niya ginawa? And in the end, parang, yun, namatay siya, actually. So, spoiler alert. Sorry. Pero, yun yung mga gusto kong scenes sa mga movies. Yung unpredictability.
Yeah, because it creates some sort of emotion. As in, contradicting to what the message of the movie is. If you look at it in a antagonistic view, taking all emotions out of people, but we digress. And natawa ako dun sa part na yun. Di ba, he took the shotguns, pack, and then tinignan pa siya nung isa. What? Parang nagulat pa yung parang dun daw nagtaka how that person reacted. May emotion ba yung taong yun to actually question that, di ba? What?
Actually, may mga konting questions ako. Kunwari si Cleric Brand nung nagkaroon ng scene na twist kunwari, di ba, na parang si John Preston parang I uncover the traitor and that's Cleric Brand. Na siya, may emotion din siya pinakita. No, it's not me. May galit siya eh. So that's an emotion, di ba?
I'm not feeling. Ilan siya palabas. You could also see yung sa mukha ni Ty Diggs, Brand na I am a bit doubtful because we don't know what really happened. Sorry. May mali ako. Oh my gosh, mali ako. Yan, palitan ko lang. But anyway. Yun din sinasabi ko na, is Brand actually feeling in the first place? Or maybe is this what John Preston is seeing progressively? Na nakikita niya yung emotion ng ibang tao. Kasi when he started partnering with Brand before, wala pa eh. Totally wala siya nakikita yung emotion ni Brand eh. And then as time passes by, and also adding to the fact that Bran did say, tell Preston that I'm going back to HQ to have my Prosium dose adjusted.
Mm.
Parang ang daming questions kung tutusin.
Mm.
Did Brand actually feel the first place? Which na evidently mukhang, yeah, because
Tingin ko
diba,
mukhang,
yeah, he's
and
associated with the father. Diba?
totoo. So he can parang pwede siya makalusot.
Mm.
And yung twist din kasi sa dulo is sabi ni Father, hinayaan niya si Preston na nakita niya kay Preston that he can feel din kasi that's why he is parang he has a good sense kung sino yung mga taong nagko-commit ng sense crime.
Yeah.
And parang yun yata yung isa sa prerequisite to be a good cleric. Kailangan ka din talagang maka-feel.
That's funny, diba?
And
Parang, why are you going to do that to your
parang
own?
sinadya nila eh.
Yes.
Sinadya nila.
Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Ayan.
Meron pa ba? May sabihin ka pa?
Hello.
Parang hindi pa parang sinadya nga nila. Well,
Hindi.
it's very
parang sinadya.
antithetical that you are going to place someone opposite to what your propaganda is saying towards people. So you still need someone to feel in order to identify those sense crime na parang, okay, so this is not 100% ang tawag na sa term ito, 100% utopia. Dahil you still need someone from the other side kung tutuusin in order to identify the criminals. Parang,
yeah. And I think ganun din yung case ni Brand. Parang meron silang trump card na na iniiwan na we're taking someone who can feel a bit para we could and we'll use him para makahuli
sleeper
ng
cell or
mga
something.
sense
Diba?
criminals.
How about
I think the same yung kay Brand.
How about yung anak niya? Yung anak niya is one of those 1984 tropes na similar.
Oo nga.
Pero
nung una akala ko nga it's nung hindi ko pa nalalaman yung twist. Para siyang 1984 nga yung anak niya. Yung pala part of the twist is hindi na din pala nagte-take yung mga anak niya.
Both of them off the drug.
But they're very good actors.
Yeah. Very good actors. Pero alam
actors.
mo yung nag-break sa akin na naramdaman ko na nakakaramdam yung anak is the table scene. Nung kumakain ng Coco Crunch and then tinatapon. Sinabi ng anak niya, stop that. Sabi ko, okay, so if you really don't feel anything, you wouldn't be annoyed in the first place. Parang be normal. Pero yun sabi, okay. So we're feeling something here. That's impossible na. Pero it was quickly explained after nun na-realize niya na my dad is not taking it anymore. Yung pinakita niya, you should be more careful in hiding these.
Yeah.
So, pinakita yung buong kamay niya, panay Prosium yung nakalagay sa kamay.
Hey, JM, your connections is becoming a bit choppy sa akin. It's fine now. Kanina medyo nag-choppy. Ngayon okay na.
Ngayon okay na.
Okay na.
Sorry
Hindi
guys.
ko lang kung sa stream ganun din.
Tinitignan ko yung stream, hindi naman masyado. I'm not sure what's really going on.
Okay. Maybe sa akin lang.
Hindi, kasi okay kayo. Okay kayo. So, it could be mine.
Okay.
Disconnecting everything. Not sure what's going on. But yeah, I'm going back to sa anak. Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
How about now?
No, that's fine. Okay na ngayon.
Okay na. Ayan, so yung anak niya natawa ako because for him to be able to maintain that level ng pagpapanggap na
hindi hanga ako sa anak niya. So ibig sabihin magaling silang act. Sorry na bro.
Yeah, actor. Probably actors.
Magaling
silang actors. And
actor I mean sa the plot.
Sa
plot.
Mm-hmm.
Magaling din sila actors in all sense. Magaling sa ano
Hirap
din,
nun.
as actors mismo. Oo.
That's funny din na yung you should be more careful in hiding these. Sabi niya, oh shit, susumbong ka na ba?
Mm.
Di ba yung pinakita sa kanya na kagano'n,
Ay, oo,
susumbong ka
yung
na ba?
ano, akala nga natin susumbong siya.
Kasi that was the same time when they invaded his house.
Yes, yes.
Di ba?
Mm.
Parang, parang, buti na lang
Mm.
walang pumasok dun habang nag-uusap kayong dalawa.
Oo.
Paano pag may pumasok dun,
Ah,
di huli yung tatay mo, huli ka.
Kaya nga.
So,
Kaya nga.
no more good ending for you both. And it's sad because both of the kids decided not to take the drug after the death of the mother.
Mm. Mm.
So, kaya sinabi ko, I did a poll here in YouTube nga. Just to see kung ano mas gusto ng tao. Should Equilibrium have a prequel or sequel or no? 50-50 na gusto sa ayaw. I think just having a sequel, I'm sorry, a prequel on what happened, we get to get the answers talaga on why Prosium is very effective, what happened to the mother, and why she decided to be off the drug. Ano ba talaga nangyari ng World War III? Yung mga stuff na ganun. I think the prerequisite would be far interesting and hopefully in the near future magkaroon sila ng interest gawin. But I think that for now, parang ang
A
hirap.
prequel would be good. Pero I don't trust the movie makers at this time. Kaya
No.
tingnan mo yung ginawa na sa Matrix 4. I love the Matrix, yung first 3 Matrix. Pero yung Matrix 4, medyo bite yung pag
We
ginawa
don't
to.
talk about the Matrix 4. It doesn't exist.
So I don't trust
I-
people right now to make good movies. Siguro pag bumalik na yung sanity ng mundo, make all the prequels you want.
Nakita mo yun? Because I'm a fan of the Matrix and a big fan of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
are. Maraming tao.
And I'm sad that Keanu walked into this project in Matrix 4. Probably he just did it out of the goodness of his heart and just wanting to give the fans what they're asking. Kasi ganyan naman yun eh. Most of the people in Hollywood, or at least the decent ones, they just want to do movies to serve as entertainment for their running fans, including this franchise, The Matrix. What's really sad is when one of the Wachowskis was asked, why did you create this movie in the first place? Hindi siya nakasagot. As in, totally, she didn't answer the question at all. Tumawa lang siya. And now you get to know what is in the minds of these people. Yung creatives nila.
Parang just for the heck of it lang ginawa yung Matrix 4. Akala may hope ako dun sa Matrix 4 nung pinapanood ko nung simula eh. Pero as nag-progress, medyo nawala.
I had zero hope for that movie. Ever since they were teasing that there would be another one. So they're breaking the fact that there's my God. Kaya nga di ba, there is only one. Kaya now there are two.
Oh nga, so 2 ones. The second one. May second one.
I guess sabi ko, Trinity is already badass as she was in the other movie. So why are you doing this to the character?
So ito, review na to ng Matrix 4. Hindi mo kailangan maging woke yung Matrix because una, diverse na siya nung 90s pa. Diverse na siya. You have badass women. You have like black characters,
strong black
female characters. Diverse na siya even nung 90s. Ngayon, kung gagawin mo siyang woke, medyo parang pumangit lang yung plot. Kaya, yun.
And just because they want to take back the term red pill.
Oo nga eh. And I think hindi sila successful dun sa pag-take back ng
definitely not.
term na red pill.
We could talk about the entire Matrix 4.
Maybe
probably
soon.
Next time.
Next time.
probably take another person din para medyo masaya-saya din yung magtuwan. But
Sige.
the only thing na sabi ko sa Matrix 4, this is one of the movies that haven't been done in the first place. If you compare it, sabihin natin another fan favorite na ginawa na yung sequel, Ghostbusters Afterlife, that was good.
Gusto ko yun. I
Because
reviewed that.
they
Actually.
knew what to give the fans.
Yeah.
Dito,
They learned dun sa failure
positive.
ng Lady Ghostbusters. So at least ngayon they
Another
gave the fans
trash
what.
film.
Diba?
Another trash film yung 2016 na yun. It's totally.
So
yeah.
So kung babalik tayo sa Equilibrium,
Yep.
and if we want I definitely want a prequel or
More
a
than a
sequel.
sequel.
Prequel more than a sequel.
Yeah.
But I don't trust the movie makers right now to make a good movie. So
I think if it's going to be given to a person who really loves the franchise, really loves the fans, and also an independent filmmaker, it might work. The only problem is a budgeting of it. If you and not to mention the rights of the movie. So talagang malaki yung hurdle na kailangan mong gawin in order to make that. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to flash forward a bit dahil medyo haba yung kwentuhan namin. Very fun stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and discuss na siguro yung yung emotions na naramdaman niya. Or at least tie in na natin the execution scene and also how John Preston felt this time around compared on how his wife was executed because of the same crime they committed. What are your thoughts on that scene?
No, yung scene na in-execute si
Mary.
si Mary O'Brien. And I told you already na I thought nga ma-save niya. He's running. Nagpapakita na siya ng talagang total emotion dun eh.
Yeah.
And parang defensive na siya sa lahat ng mga ginagawa niya. Why are you running? And obvious na din eh. And I think nagpa-play along lang talaga tong sina Brand and si Father eh. But nung like you said, parang hindi ko in-expect na
mamatay yung babae.
Mamatay
yep.
Si Mary. Akala ko maabutan niya. So, medyo unexpected yung part na yon ng movie. So,
he also compared himself if you saw that part. He compared himself how he reacted when his wife was about to be executed. Talagang wala parang nakadiretso tingin ng ganyan. And then ganun.
Pero kung may regret yata siya din naman sa wife niya.
I mean the regret
he was dreaming about it.
After. Diba? Parang nung na-realize na niya yung weight, oh yeah, this is the same thing that happened to me before. Now I'm feeling like what I could have felt nung nangyari yung scene na yun. Ay, nangyari yung event na yun sa buhay ko. There are some emotions siguro running in nung nahuli yung asawa niya. You could see it nung nahuli. Pero he didn't know how to react. He didn't know how to react. Probably he was...
What I remember dun sa scene na yun is nangyari ba sa'yo before na parang something sad happened pero hindi ka umiyak at that moment for some reason.
Oh yeah,
tapos
a lot of times.
After a few
days
days or parang nung naalala mo na lang tsaka mo binuhos lahat nung lungkot mo. And parang yun yung nakikita ko kay John Preston. Siguro yung emotion niya on that scene, binuhos na rin niya yung sa wife niya.
Yep.
So yun yung
Pero yun yung that's really one of the important parts of the movie. When he broke down in public.
Yeah. Doon na siya hinuli.
When he broke down in public, it's really the film acknowledging that, oh yeah, this is already 100% reality. This is already 100% of John Preston acknowledging the fact that he now knows how to feel emotions And then po
Mm.
siya, may party pooper na pumasok na hinuli na lang siya. Pero it's very,
Oo,
it's very good for yung acting skills ni Christian Bale, being able
Christian
to
Bale.
turn that off in front of yung high cleric. Diba?
Oo, oo.
Enough niya
Galing.
talaga yung switch na yun. Kasi,
Yeah.
if that was a normal person na huli ka, iyak ka pa rin eh. Kasi, the
Mm,
wound
mm.
is fresh. You
Mm.
just saw the wife of your best friend or partner murdered in front of you. And then, ikaw, naalala mo the same way kung paano pinatay yung asawa mo. So, if that was a regular person without any training of being a grammaton cleric, baka siguro emotional wreck ka na after nun. Pero he does have the advantage of being trained as one of the best. So, siguro pagpasok niya doon, okay, kailangan ko ulit magpakita ng charade na hindi ko kailangan pakita ko sa kanila na hindi ako masyado invested sa nararamdaman ko in front of
Mm.
everyone else. And ito na
Para
yung
siyang
sinasabi mo
ano,
yeah, ito yung
para
sinasabi
siyang
na,
para siyang anak niya, di ba?
yes, ganon.
Na nagsi-switch
And
off ng emotion.
And dito yung nga natatawa tayo kanina because Brand was showing emotions at this scene na,
Oo
okay,
nga.
this is my gun. Diba? Yung sabi niya, whose
Oo,
gun we
oo.
use. I could tell you who did. It was him. What?
Yeah,
Sabi niya
yeah.
ganun. Hindi
May
natawa ka nun. Pag ganun ng
maganda yung
baril,
twist na
biglang
yun actually.
gumanon pa siya eh. Parang, wait. Ito yung
Parang
baril niya.
huling-huli ka na.
Diba?
Huling-huli ka na. Umiyak ka
Saka,
sa in public. Tas,
nag-wink pa siya nung tumingin siya kay Brand eh. Doon ako natawa eh. Okay.
oo. Hindi, maganda yung twist na yun. Hindi ko din inasa. Ang daming twist nitong movie actually eh.
Yeah, there's
Ah,
a lot.
kaya I love na parang every moment may twist. So this is one
Mm-mm.
twist. Twist din yung sa anak niya. And then after this twist, may isa pang twist na he's being played. So yung moving na yun, parang way ahead na
Yeah.
yun. But
We might
mm,
skip some of the na rin dahil medyo
ah,
matagal na tayo. Pero if
okay.
I have all night, ikaw lang iniisip ko, sir. Kasi alam mo
Ano
naman, you're
yun,
still recovering from,
yeah. Oo nga.
Sergey is
From
recovering
COVID,
from,
yeah,
you know what?
nagka-COVID ako.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, right now.
So the Omicron variant.
Oh my
I
God.
think Omicron variant to.
Okay naman
So,
kayo. I mean, family is okay naman. Everyone else
yeah,
surrounding
we're
you.
good. We're good.
Nice.
Malupit si Omicron eh. Talagang alam mong COVID yung tumama sa iyo dahil walang ligtas eh. And that's another discussion. Kaya
Another
medyo
discussion.
I have a lot of
Malalim yun eh.
thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts sa COVID and
So,
pero hindi natin napag-usapan yun yung the Great Reset maybe next time.
next time, I will invite you again with
Mm-mm.
Sir J, probably with Sir Gerald, because we're going to
Okay.
do another that on the different channel na meron ako. So
Mm.
I try to not mix politics dito sa ano na to. Sa
Okay,
channel
okay.
na to. I try as much as I can, pero pag nagpag-usapan na,
Kasi
yun na yan.
pinapasukan ko ng politics.
Hindi, pinasukan ko din kanina eh. So, wala
Okay.
tayong magagawa doon. I mean,
Good,
it's the
good.
world eh. It's so
Political
sad
din kasi
because,
itong
yeah, the
movie na
movie
to.
itself is political. Diba?
Yeah.
It's about
Mm,
totalitarian state and
mm,
how they control people, how they use drugs to control people. So,
mm.
yun na yun. And it's very sad because when you see the entertainment industry right now, everything is politicized at the point na parang
Yeah.
wala nang ligtas.
This is what I don't like about movies these days. Because mostly pinapasukan nila ng something political yung movie. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Kasi itong equilibrium is very political. The problem with movie these days is inuuna nila yung politics before making a good movie. Unlike let's say itong Equilibrium, they made a good movie. They have a good story. Maganda yung action, maganda yung visuals. And it just so happened na political siya. Diba? So yun yung difference sa movie making now. They put the politics first before making a good movie.
Yes.
So yun.
I don't know, man. Parang sawa
Let's
na akong ano eh. Hindi, sawa na ako dun sa ano. This is the same thing because yung last interview ko with the critical drinker, which is yun nga, one
mm,
of the reasons why I continue doing this. He's very entrenched on what's happening. He knows how to write
mm,
stories, proper stories and everything. May
mm,
sinabi siya nun eh, parang give example for Ray Skywalker na
mm.
totally walang character
And
development.
yun, definitely politics first yun
Yes,
in
yun yung
Star Wars.
sinabi nga niya, this is not
Uh,
storytelling. This is
mm,
pushing propaganda.
uh,
Yun.
uh. And
Totally
that's
wala yung
what's
heroes.
missing. That's what's missing sa movie ngayon. I don't mind watching a movie with a political
Political
propaganda
training. Yep.
as long as you put the art first. Art muna. Your
Before the
movie
message.
makers first before the message.
Mm.
So yun yung ano. That's
Mas
what's
maganda pa nga
being
eh. Mas maganda pa nga kung
yeah.
hindi halata yung message eh. Parang,
Oo, and
kunyari,
biglang mapapano ko na lang, yung ano, yun
same with
yung
this
message pala.
movie. Aminado yung director nito na he didn't really do this to cite anything political. Inamin niya eh. Parang,
Mm, mm.
that's the one of staples of a good movie. If
Yes,
the more
yes.
you watch it,
Mm.
siguro sabihin ko na lang din at the time hindi natin masyado na-appreciate to because there's a lot better movies at the time.
Yeah.
But as time
And
passes by,
yeah.
sige, go ahead, sorry.
Then I mean at that time wala yung totalitarianism ng big tech and news outlets
Mm,
na at least visible sa atin. Kaya siguro we can relate now because of what we see in the present time. But nung time na yon, it's a good movie as like a good movie lang siya with a
yes,
message.
the message.
So, you know, so make a good movie, yun yung ano,
That's the
yun yung
thing.
nawawala ngayon.
Yun nga. I'm just so sad because how shitty yung entertainment industry ngayon that we have to go back 10, 20, or even 30 years
Mm.
para lang ma-enjoy yung entertainment natin.
Yeah. May isang magandang movie na Pinoy na nagandahan ako. I'm not sure kung nanonood ka rin ng Pinoy movies.
Sometimes, but not
Last year
really.
yata yung Fangirl ang title. So
I'll
nagandahan
check.
ako doon. Ang title niya is Fangirl.
Sino bida?
Si Paulo Avellino yata yung
I'll,
bida
I'll
ron.
go ahead and check it.
Anyway,
So,
gusto ko yung movie because hindi ko alam na political movie siya. Nung pinanood ko yung movie, it's an okay film pero hindi ko alam na political movie siya. After ko na lang matapos yung movie at nung may nag-point out na may allegory siya ng fandom sa mga politicians, doon ko na lang na-appreciate na, wow, oo nga no. So yun yung example ko na make a good movie, then yung politics should come after. Let the people think. Mas maganda nga itago mo yung politics Tapos biglang
yes.
magkakaroon ng aha moment na lang yung mga tao, di ba? So
Mm.
right now, mga in your face yung politics
Ito kasi kung
So, yun.
tutusin, equilibrium
Oo.
in your face din yung politics niya. Pero that
Oo.
wasn't the message. That wasn't the underlying theme ng problem ng movie na yun. It's not it's not what the director or scriptwriter is conveying. It's just they're conveying how dangerous it is to live in a world where you don't make your own choices and let the state do it for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
another great
Okay.
quote dito sa movie, siguro going back a bit, pero forward na rin natin. Yung
Okay,
sinabi ni
sige.
Brand na, after we destroy all of this paraphernalia or this contraband, what will be left for us to do? And what will they do to people like us? That's a very, communistic, di ba? Parang environment na ko-question mo na ano kayo gagawin nila once na ma-discard na natin lahat ng kailangan sirain. What is left to destroy? Kasi basically, ito pa, politics naman to. What's happening is revisionist history. Destroy the old, make the new one. In order for you to validate the new one, you have to destroy any traces of past history. Yun yung goal nila. Which is very dangerous kasi you don't learn from the past that way. And if you don't learn from the past, eventually it will come back and hunt you. So, siguro sustainable yun. And now that they didn't learn from the past, syempre may mga taong sense offenders, as they say, yun yung past ninyo. Yun yung before eh. Yung mga sense offenders ito. Ito yung mga tao dati. Ngayon, sila nag-hunt sila sa kanila ngayon. So, they need to eradicate everything when it comes to that. Re-educate. And then, eventually, mamaya, ito malapit na tayo, patapos na rin naman.
Okay.
After nung, saan na ba tayo kanina?
Nahuli
ayun
na
nga,
si Brand, di ba?
Nahuli na si Brand, and then, ngayon, ito na. So, skip na natin, forward pa tayo ng konti kasi wala naman masyadong nangyari importante dun sa mga rebels. It's like, they only talk for plans kung anong gagawin nila, kung ano kailangan natin gawin in order to capture or at least have an audience with Father. So, nahuli na nila yung mga rebels with the help kuno ni John Preston, giving him a big statement and also a big up. Now, yeah, I have the right to meet Father now because I basically gave you the rebels na hinahanap ninyo for years na hindi nyo magawa. And then, ngayon, puchang ganda ng suot niya. Gusto kong suot
yung nakaputi, no?
Yes. Does it signify na ako lang because they never introduce the color white anywhere. So ngayon tinitignan ko, is the color white signifying him totally disassociated sa past niya as a grammaton cleric? Diba?
Probably sa creative standpoint ng movie, pero doon sa story parang yung suot niya na yun is something formal.
A bit symbolic. Yeah.
Diba? So
pero,
mukhang common na siya na suot for
but
for
we haven't seen anyone
occasion.
who wear haven't seen anyone who wore it. And it was never mentioned
in the movie.
In the movie itself, walang lore na kailangan magsuot ka ng all white. So ako nung nakita ko ulit after watching it na parang, okay, so he's a mid-level guy. Yeah, it could be one of the reasons sa kailangan maging formal ka. Pero di ba formal ka na in the first place eh? The whole black thing. Di ba? It would work. Pero how big a statement din ba sabihin ng movie sa'yo, okay, this guy talagang may emotions na siya. And yun yung slate niya na puti na yung suot ko, anything can happen. Yun na yung nakikita ko nun eh. Kasi it would be evident moving forward ko na nangyari. So, umupo siya. Ay, hindi ba sinabi sa kanya, you didn't think that we're going to let you in without a test. Di ba sabi sa kanya?
Yeah. So, doon siya nahuli eh.
Pucha. Ako tanungin kita, sir, kung gawin sa'yo yun, na hinuli ka, tapos sabay, pucha, linaloko lang pala kayo lahat. Anong reaction mo sa ganun?
Hindi, mag-berserk gaya ng ginawa niya.
Di ba?
Walang ibang choice eh. Talaga, na.
Tapos on top, may bubulong pa sa tenga mo, I told you I'm going to make a career out of you.
And kung magpa-fast forward na tayo a bit dun sa chamber ni Father nung na reveal na who Father is. Tapos na dun si Brandt. Lumalabas na si Father yung isa sa pinakamalaking hipokrito sa lahat dahil yung chamber niya may mga paintings eh. Diba? So may paintings yung chamber niya and probably kaya naisip ko maybe Brandt can feel, maybe itong si Father can feel. Otherwise parang hindi nalalagay yung paintings doon sa chamber. Pero nagpapakita lang sila ng parang we have the power to make you do things. Kasi merong sinabi si Father in the middle eh. And basically ito yung Euthyphro dilemma na tinatawag. Parang sobrang faith lang nung mga cleric kay Father eh. To a point na ang tama ba ay whatever Father says? Parang gano'n. Nagiging tama bang isang bagay because let's say God says na tama ito. Yun yung Euthyphro dilemma na tinatawag. Or tama ba siya even even if God doesn't say it. So yun yung sinasabi ni Father sa isang scene, parang kahit na magsabi ako ng anything arbitrary, tama ito sa inyo.
Ay,
You'll
yung
take it by faith.
nag-ano siya,
Oo.
diba? Nag-clench siya ng kamay na you
Oo.
have to, you do have faith, diba? Parang ganun. Yes, pero sa
Oo.
loob niya, pucha, mali-mali. Parang he's already questioning the narrative eh. He's already big questioning the narrative that bakit natin ginagawa to. There's much more optimal ways on how to do this. And no, what Father says is rule by law. Ganun.
I think ang sinisignify ni Father dito is parang hypocrisy. Maybe siya lang yung nakakaramdam throughout the whole movie. Maybe si Brandt a little, pero because siya yung parang king sa kanila, he can do whatever he wants. Parang yun yung yung nagpa-power trip siya in my opinion.
Yes, kasi and again, as I said earlier, what will you do when you realize the king has no clothes? Diba? So, wala eh. Talagang ano ka na nito eh.
Yung chamber, di ba? Chamber,
yeah, ito yung chamber. Dito ako natatawa eh. Iano ko lang din.
Sige nga.
Tingnan mo yung tsura din yung mukha ni ni Brent.
Ay, oo, tama yun. ang gory sa akin yan, ang una kong napanood. Ang gory na.
Kasi di ba, yun nga, di ba, progressively, itong scene na to, actually may mga dugo na yan eh. Hindi ko alam kung saan napunta eh. May mga dugo na dapat yan eh. Again, the theme, you're not going to see much blood initially in the movie, pero as the fights go by na hindi na siya nagtitake ng prosium, mas lalo mo nakikita may dugo na. So, nung in-invade niya yung quarters, ayun nga, and then, karoon niya, patay na yung mga yan. And then, after nun, makikita mo, daw natatawa ako dito, it's way too obvious na hindi si Christian Bale to. Tingnan mo yung mukha. So, yung damit niya, and the next scene after this, after niyang patayin si Father, the next scene, panay dugo na siya.
Medyo may continuity error siya dyan.
I think
pinunasan niya ba? Pinunasan niya ng
hindi, kasi may sugat siya sa leeg eh. Out of nowhere, hindi naman siya tinamaan sa leeg. So, what I'm getting a sense out of that is, I've done everything that I need to do. Ngayon, I think it's time for the audience to see ano na talaga yung ako. Ano na talaga nangyayari dito. And na-realize na rin natin na, okay, so in a short span of time na nawala yung drug sa kanya, there is an effect both psychologically, well, obviously psychologically, between the main character and also the viewer. Kasi ngayon, yung journey niya, nakikita na natin talaga yung full extent ng effect being taken off ng drug. Kasi one by one, nakikita mo na po siya, hindi pala siya yung tawag dito. Hindi pala siya yung Superman na nakikita talaga natin. He's also exposed na onti na pwede siya mamatay. And yung huling, the last quote na exchanges na sinabi sa kanya, parang, I live, I breathe, I feel. Now that you know, can you take it? Is it even worth the price? Ang sagot niya, I'd gladly take it. I'd gladly pay it. Binaril niya. So, doon na yun. Parang yun na yung finale ng hero's journey niya na, okay, I've already done everything that I need to do. This is my redemption arc para sa asawa ko. And everyone else na napatay ko, I did something good. Kaya riding off to the sunset na siya kung tutusin, di ba? Kitang-kita naman dun eh. Pinakita na
and after that, yung mga rebellion, sila naman ang nag-massacre sa mga soldiers.
Natawa ako doon.
Medyo
natawa ako doon kasi
sila naman yung pumatay dun sa
Not only that, sir, kasi yung stance nila na parang ang layo nyo, dapat nakita na kayo ng mga sundalo, di ba? Parang yung mga sundalo wala lang pakialam. May mga baril to mga tao to, nagpabaril na lang kayong lahat. And
Oo.
where are the other clerics?
Yeah. Medyo may parang irony ako na nakita doon eh. Kasi nung after nun, sila naman yung nag-massacre doon sa mga sundalo, pinatay ng mga rebels. And at least yung mga sundalo, may excuse sila na nung pinapatay namin kayo, we cannot feel. Kayo
O dito wala
nakakaramdam
eh.
kayo.
Just deliberately kung ano talaga eh, di ba?
Oo, kayo nakakaramdam kayo, pinagpapatay nyo kami. So, medyo may ano doon, may konting uh, medyo
Morality.
funny kung
May,
isipin mo.
may morality ano.
So ang ano naman doon, ang George Orwell book naman doon is yung Animal Farm.
Yes.
Kasi once na kayo na ang nasa posisyon, you'll realize na you're no different from the old
From the
boss.
monsters that you're fighting from.
So
Ganun
siguro
yun eh.
ganun ang mangyayari sa sequel kung meron mang sequel tong movie.
Yeah, let's go ahead and siguro patapos na rin naman na. Let's go ahead and talk about possibilities ito. Based on the ending, are you saying are you assuming on with yourself na the next chapter na parang sila naman yung kalaban?
It would be closer to Animal Farm ni George Orwell. Once na so bibigyan ko lang yung audience ng gist kung ano yung Animal Farm. So sa Animal Farm, yung mga humans kasi sila yung syempre yung mga farmers ang hari ng farm. Nagrebelde itong mga hayop. So tinaboy nila yung farmers. Tapos sila ngayon yung naghari sa farm, yung mga hayop. And mukhang all is well, pero ang nangyari is they govern the farm na para bang tyrannical din sila gaya ng farmers. Na iba lang yung nasa posisyon, pero same story. Same story. So there.
Kinukumpara ko lang din yung yung Ingsoc, di ba, nasa 1984 yun. Kasi ganun na ganun talaga yung nangyayari. Ayon, tinignan ko ulit. So, what inspired most of what happened in Equilibrium is, again, obviously, 1984 by George Orwell and also Fahrenheit 451. Not sure kung naano man. I'll send you this. I'll send you something over the private chat. This guy actually, ito rin, I mean, napanood ko lang kahapon. Ito yung niya, yung take niya pagdating sa dismantling totalitarianism when it comes to equilibrium. But yeah, I think I would agree. Yung reflection, it'd be a good art. Now they will be comparing themselves that it wasn't really that much good yung nangyari. You're no different from the monsters that you're up against. The only difference that you have no excuse because now you have the free will to think for yourself. And you guys decided to kill each other, kill other people deliberately. So
it's the same story naman din nangyayari sa mundo natin. Kasi let's say before mag-come into power ang, let's say, leftism sa US, they're fighting the man, di ba? Meron silang the man na linalabanan. And now that they're in power, it ganun pa rin. Same dito sa Pilipinas. Let's say sabihin natin Aquinos, parang gano'n nung pumasok yung Duterte. I'm not sure kung ano yung political stand niya, pero it seems na halos ganun pa rin ang nangyari na iba lang yung nakaupo but parang same as the old boss, parang gano'n.
Yeah. So, anyway. It's a vicious cycle kung tutusin parang siya how less of the lesser evil can you get if you're in a position of power? That's a big question. Kasi if you're going to compare it with pero pasok pa tayong usapan dito. If you're going to compare with choosing who your next president is, you're always going to aim for someone better. Pero is he actually the best person for the job? And titignan mo din yung kung sino kung mature enough ka na to realize na all of them have baggages to carry. And you have to choose the lesser evil among those 5 candidates. ang hirap nun, kung tutusin.
There's always a possibility din kasi na, ano, na parang pinalitan lang natin and the next one is no better than the old one.
It's funny because you could
Kaya nga.
cite an example in the US regarding the past president and also the current one.
Oh yeah.
Diba?
Yun,
Yun na
obviously.
lang
In
That's
just a
a
year.
that's a big example. And
Mm.
people are still, what they call this? People are still denying the fact na what's happening now is worse than what's happening 4 years ago. And this is just roughly a year. Diba?
Oh. And that's why I warn people not to be fanatics pagdating sa politicians. Yun yung ano, yeah, because you can be fanatics sa mga ano, sa mga, let's say kay Taylor Swift, sa mga artists or sa actors. You can be fanatics sa kanila. May paglaban kayo kung anong best album. Kunwari, para sinabi na hindi maganda tong album na to ni Taylor Swift. You can fight to the death. Pero pagdating sa politicians, there's something at stake eh. There's something at stake. There's a lot at stake. Livelihood ng mga tao and sometimes lives ng mga tao. And you can't be a fanatic of politicians. Always scrutinize yung politicians natin. So they're not like parang yung mga matinee idols natin na walang at stake if you're a fanatic of them. So yun yung hopefully we get over as a country. Kasi nakita natin yun sa because of tribalism, medyo talagang hindi natin makriticize yung politician na who we're a fanatic about eh.
Yeah.
Ang nangyayari they feel that they can do whatever they want because nandito yung mga fans ko na susuportahan ako no matter what. Yeah, that's the danger.
And that also makes you as worse as something you're fighting against. Kasi if you're fighting against totalitarianism and then you're vying for another candidate na against it, pero not being subjective thinking or thinking critically on what he actually does as a politician or even yung personality niya. And also yung track record niya. Parang masyado ko ng fanatic to. Hindi. Ewan ko ikaw nagsabi nito. Or maybe I heard someone else nagsabi. Might be Stitch and Adam from the Stitch and Adam show. Another highly recommendable politics show. They go around talking about this 9 hours straight. May sinabi sila na either ikaw o siya. Hindi ko na mahalala sa daming content na pinapakinggan ko. You have to treat politicians as individual people and not your friends. Kasi at the end of the day, they're just doing a job. They're still doing a job and they need to survive. Kung tatratuhin mo sila na parang they owe you something, hindi talaga mangyayari yun. Ang pwede lang nilang gawin is what's best for quote-unquote, what's best for the country or wherever they're assigned to, but also thinking then about their career, which na kung individual ka, hindi ka naman talaga part ng career nila. So why are you being super advocate or a fanatic of a politician in the end na parang wala naman talaga sila pakialam sa'yo?
No, hindi ako nagsabi yan. Although I said something similar to an extent na parang sinabi ko na there are friends or kamag-anak tayo na minsan they will do something na isip ka parang, I thought I know this person, pero I'm disappointed na ginawa niya to.
Expectations.
Di ba? Parang madalas mangyari sa atin yun eh. May kaibigan ka na parang akala mo sobrang bait, tapos biglang may nag-cheat or madi-disappoint ka, parang gano'n. Yon, kaibigan mo na yon. And yon, kamag-anak mo na yon. Nagugulat ka pa rin na may ginagawa silang hindi mo inaasahan na gagawin nila. What more yung mga politicians na hindi mo man lang nakasama sa dining table, hindi mo na meet personally. What more sila, di ba? Parang kapag may ginawa sila, dapat talagang madi-disappoint ka. And yet you act as if kilalang kilala mo tong politicians na to na para bang wala silang gagawing masama.
Mm.
So yun yung yun yung analogy that I can think of.
Yeah. In the end kasi, whatever happens, whoever you vote for, manalo matalo, at the end, majority of what happens in your life is still your own decision.
Yeah, definitely.
And we could only, ano yan, these politicians could only help you out as much as they can if their heart is in a good place. If not, then malas tayong lahat. Yun naman sabi ko.
Yeah.
Not malas tayong lahat. But
Yeah, definitely. Don't make it an excuse na parang the system is bad,
broken.
kaya broken, kaya hindi ka makaangat-angat sa buhay mo. We have I know a lot of people despite na in a broken system na bubuhay sa isang squatter area, he had a good life because hindi niya hinayaan na pa-victim sa system natin na ito. So,
yeah.
yun.
Yun talaga. And continuing with the theme of the movie, it's basically also thinking for yourself.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good input.
Thinking for yourself. The way John Preston did, that he already felt something wrong and tried to investigate. Maybe a worse term na sinasabi nila ngayon is to think for yourself and do your own research, people. Yon. Ayun ang tawag nila.
Kasi lagi natin nababanggit yung totalitarianism. One other danger is yung collective mentality
Thinking,
and collective thinking.
Double think, diba?
Hindi, iba yung double think sa
1984.
1984 pag may two conflicting thoughts. Anyway, yung collective mentality is yun nga, do your research, magkaroon kayo ng look for reliable sources, and always question assumptions. Yun lang, at the very least, question assumptions. Kahit na something that you hold, a belief that you hold for a long time. So question it. Yun yung masabi ko.
Yeah, it's the same when it comes to everything. The movies you watch, even lalo na when it comes to people pushing medical stuff to you.
Definitely. A good exercise na lagi kong ginagawa is I find something that I don't disagree on dun sa tao na I hold a high regard, na ina-idolize ko. Let's say, si Ben Shapiro. I love listening to Ben Shapiro, but I worry na baka mamaya I'm becoming too much of a fan of him. Kaya sometimes consciously naghahanap ako ng sasabihin niya that I'll disagree on. So yun yung maybe it's one exercise that everyone could try para hindi idolatry ang dating sa mga tao. Even si Jordan Peterson, sobrang tiwalang-tiwala ako kay Jordan
Nakita mo
Peterson.
yung interview
idol na idol ko yun.
Ni Rogan recently. Dami nagalit.
Ay, ni Rogan? Hindi ko pa napapanood yun actually. So
Oh my God. Kahit ako medyo nakamot ulo ko. Pero I think it's din eh. This time na meron tayo, it's really affecting everyone psychologically. I mean, we all, at least being fans of Jordan Peterson, we know kung ano pinagdaanan niya. Even yung, di ba, nawala siya for a while because of drugs na yung binibigay sa kanya. Being drug dependent. We don't know kung ano yung extent ng damage na ginawa sa kanya. Pero I'm happy because even if ganito na siya, medyo hazy yung niya, due to COVID din, na nagkaroon din, at least you could reflect dun sa mga nakarang sinabi niya for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years continuous nang ginawa yun. I also have the 12 rules for life here. And even beyond chaos, meron din ako. Actually, hindi ko pa nasimulan yung Beyond Chaos, but I do have the audio tracks and I'm planning to listen on it probably tomorrow na rin, start today. Kasi pwede ko mapakinggan habang naglilinis ako, naglalaba ako. Just what I do with Sir Jay's podcast as well. He has a podcast. Sometimes I listen to him. Recently, mas
Thank
marami
you.
akong napapakinggan because I got to dive in dun sa ano niya. He has a good message. So, ayun nga. Before we continue in closing, siguro ano na rin, sir. If there is one thing that Equilibrium taught you, ano yung ano na yun? What lesson did you learn from it?
It is I'll go back to ano yung sinabi ko the beginning of the show. Like kasi sinusupress natin yung ano yung dito sa movie they suppress feelings,
Hmm.
and feelings is good. Okay, okay lang naman yung feelings, and I think ang lesson dito is maybe yung balance. And na banggit mo yun, ano, yung 12 rules for life eh.
Yep.
Dalawa dun sa binabanggit ni Jordan Peterson sa 12 rules for life is laging naglalaban yung order and chaos.
Yes.
And what happened here sa equilibrium is yung order ang ano
And chaos.
ang namayan. And actually yung order, it's order yung ano. Kaya naging totalitarian, di ba? So there's too
Yep.
much order. But yung chaos, it seems like a negative term, pero kay Jordan Peterson yung chaos for him is parang siya lang yung unknown. Siya yung unknown. And if there's too much order at wala yung unknown, we'll definitely end up in a totalitarian society. So I think we need to find the right balance. Kasi kung chaos naman, sobrang unknown, nangyayari din yung, ano, yung totalitarian society sa chaos. It's too leftist. Like yung feelings, moral relativism is chaotic kung yun lang yung, ano, yung magiging rule of thumb ng mga tao. So moral relativism is parang kung ano yung feeling ko, yun yung tama. And that is very chaotic.
Mm.
So I think we need to find the right balance of order and chaos. And yun yung takeaway ko dito sa movie na to. We hindi kaya yung sinasabi ko I'm conservative pero I'm not totally libertarian. I I I lean libertarian, but I acknowledge na meron ding mga need for authoritarianism. Like may mga parang absolute truths na kailangan pa rin nating i-enforce, like yung truths on what is a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Medyo hindi ako hindi, kaya medyo kailangan i-enforce natin 'yon. I'm very strong on enforcing the real meaning of marriage. Uh, what
Mm.
is marriage? Kaya medyo ano ako doon, authoritarian ako doon. At the same time, medyo libertarian ako sa ano sa pag sa COVID, let's say, sa vaccines. I don't want na yung mga rights ng mga tao ay hinaharang natin kung
Yep.
hindi sila vaccinated. We need to find the right balance is my takeaway in this movie.
And hindi na namin papatagalin yung ano na yan, conversation with regards to the vaccines or everything. I will be reserving that talk in the other channel and
All
probably
right.
invite you as well, sir. And also, Sir Jack, I'll talk about more about it and how it ties up with the Great Reset. My main takeaway here is not far from what you said. You need to have balance in everything because if you only have one side dictating everything, that's a very short recipe for destruction. Talaga. And if you want everything in order, which is in paper, good work for the betterment of everyone else. But again, it is for the greater good. Pero ano yung saying na yun? Parang all paths of destruction yata. You mentioned it a while ago. For the greater good muna yung nagiging ano nila, basis nila. Tapos sabay everything else falls down. Parang mali yata yung ginawa natin. Parang saka lang may regret na
You're becoming choppy again, JM.
check, check, check.
Ayan, okay.
Okay na ngayon? Sorry Sorry
Medyo
guys.
nag-choppy ka ulit.
Not sure what's wrong with the
Still choppy.
internet.
Uh, hmm.
How about now? How about now?
A little
Teka
bit.
lang.
Your videos naka-freeze sa akin.
Ngayon.
So I know, so hindi ko sure baka sa akin lang 'yan or I'm not sure kung sa stream ganun din.
Medyo nga. There's a bit. How about now? Narinig mo na ako, mga sir?
Yan. Okay na.
Okay, sorry.
Mais na.
I-ano ko
Okay
lang
na.
muna. I-avatar ko lang muna. I'm not sure baka may
Yeah,
problema
go
yun.
ahead.
So, ngayon, meron
Okay.
na. Okay na. Hindi pa rin.
Okay na. A little bit. Kanina okay na nung you turned off the video.
Sige, turn off ko muna. Yan. Okay. So,
Yan, okay na yung
ganito na
audio.
muna since patapos na kami.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I have to go off cam. But yun nga,
So,
as I said a while ago,
okay.
the main premise of this movie is, again, I would agree that everything has to be in balance. If only one side dictates what needs to be done and you totally dismiss the other side, it's a very short recipe for chaos and also destruction. May sinabi ka kanina, sir, regarding, I forgot the quote, na parang all bad things are paved in way by good good intentions or something like ganun. I forgot what it.
The road to hell is
Road to hell,
paved
yeah,
with
it's paved.
the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
So yeah, I would definitely agree. And there is no perfect leadership. There will never be a perfect leadership. But one thing that we always have to accept as individuals is our right to feel, number one, the movie, and also the right to make our own decisions and live. That's basically the premise of what I understood this movie. There's other stuff na I picked up also I could learn is government shouldn't be mandating anything. Because here you could see they mandated prosil. So they regulate it to the point na again, they have their own time kung kailan nila i-intake. Negating all freedom of speech, negating all freedom even of health kung I don't know kung hanggang saan yun. Kaya that's why I want a prequel to this movie. Just to discover kung ano talagang ginawa nila after World War III. But yeah, I think that's it. We've run through almost 3 hours on this one. We could actually go further if we wanted to, pero I'd like to be very considerate to my guests kasi medyo nag-ano pa. Nag-recover pa si Sir Jay. And what I'm going to do right now is
Baka kinakancel ka na ni Baka kinakancel ka na ni YouTube.
Don't really care.
Baka kinakancel ka na ni YouTube kaya kaya nagcha-choppy ka na.
Oh my God. Ayaw mo sila. Pero yun nga, sir.
Joke lang yan.
Any recommendations for the weekend sa mga tao? Anything you'd like them to watch? I mean, besides your podcast, mamaya promote din natin yan. Anything else you'd like them to see na pinanood mo recently?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Ang huling pinanood ko na enjoy ko. Sabi nila maganda daw yung Peacemaker ni John Cena. So I'm excited to watch that sa weekend. Maganda raw yung bagong episode ng Book of Boba Fett.
Oh no.
So minsan enjoy.
Siguro na-check kita kagad diretso ngayon kasi pinanood ko nila yung Boba Fett. I mean, sige. Okay. It's yours. Mamaya natin pag-usapan off screen.
Wag mo spoil. Hindi ko pa napapanood.
Yun nga. Sige.
Sige. So yun yung plans ko sa I'm just telling yung plans ko sa weekend. I don't remember kung ano yung pinanood ko nung last weekend. Weekend kasi ako nagbi-binge eh.
Yeah.
Kaya sa weekend na to, yung Boba Fett ang papanoorin ko. Tsaka yung Peacemaker. And I'm not sure yung naka-plan for me. Tapos usually mga na lang nagka-catch up ako. I just to let everyone know nag-abstain ako sa mga podcast pag weekdays and binibinge ko lahat sa weekend. Kaya doon ko inuubos. Pati YouTube sa weekend.
Mm.
So,
Parang napaka-ikli ng timeline
ayun,
for you to listen to.
binibinge ko lahat sa weekend.
Oh my God. Hindi ko kaya yun.
What's that?
Hindi ko kaya. Hindi ko kaya
Ano,
na weekend
ano,
na nanonood.
yung
Di ba kasi you say that
hindi.
you
Oo
abstain
nga eh.
from everything on the weekdays and then you just concentrate on working these entertainment out on the
Nag-abstain
weekdays.
ako.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. Kasi ako everyday
Oo.
ako nakikinig
So,
I mean,
dati kasi kaya nga. And okay lang 'yun. I would suggest na gawin niyo 'yun para pakinggan niyo yung podcast ko.
yeah. Mm-mm.
It's just me na sa weekend ko binubuhos lahat ng pagbi-binge ko on entertainment. Kasi I mentioned dun sa page ko, I have to do that to go back into reading books. Kasi ngayon binabasa ko ulit hindi, actually ngayon ko lang babasahin yung 12 Rules for Life ni Jordan Peterson eh. Pero I have to intentionally do that na mag-abstain ako on any internet browsing, uh, TV, movies on weekdays. Kasi hindi na ako nakakapagbasa ng libro. So I have to do that. Kaya sa weekend na lang 'yon, yung entertainment.
Well,
So,
reading books
so
is both educational and entertaining din. So I think more in the educational part
yeah.
yung pagbasa ng libro. Well, yeah.
Mm.
Peacemaker daw and also Book of Boba Fett. I have my own opinions on both of those and I'm not continuing to watch
Sige nga. Sige.
Peacemaker. I'm not going to watch Boba Fett anymore. And siguro after mong panoorin sa ako
Really?
ibibigay
Hindi ko
sa'yo.
pa nasisimulan yung hindi ko
Yung
pa
Boba
nasisimulan yung Peacemaker. Na sabi lang nila sa hindi, Boba Fett nasimulan ko.
Mhm.
Yung Peacemaker hindi ko pa nasisimulan. But nakarinig ako ng good reviews. So I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
May
Pero siguro kung since
may mga series that I stopped watching.
Siguro if
Okay.
we are of the same
Siguro
mindset.
off-air na lang natin pag-usapan yung mga yan.
Siguro if we're on the same mindset when it comes to Hollywood, you will quickly know kung bakit ko siya tinigil. Yun na naman sabi ko. Yun na lang yan. Pero I do hope you enjoy kasi most people enjoyed it. Ewan ko kung bakit hindi ako. But yeah, siguro for me, I would suggest people entertainment-wise, ang hirap mag-suggest ngayon eh. Pero go to YouTube. More YouTube na lang ang pinapakita ko ngayon. And look for Mahler and the EFAP crew. That's E, F for Frank, A for Apple, P for Paul. They do very long commentaries on movies. 9 to 10 hours long. They discuss in the movies or even a watch through of a particular movie. Pakita ko na example before we promote Sir Jay's channel. This is what I've been watching for the past 4 months. So, pakita ko lang. Yan, sila ang pinapanood ko. 4 hours long reacting to stuff.
Okay. Naalala
sir,
ko yung pinanood ko nung weekend. Kasi kunin ko lang yung libro.
Sige.
Kasi sabi ko nga, di ba, I had time ngayon na magbasa ng libro.
Yes, sige.
Nung intentionally tinigil ko yung panonood sa weekdays. So, binasa ko tong Michael Crichton book na Disclosure. Maganda yung libro pero pangit yung yung movie. Pero pinanood ko yung movie because out of curiosity gusto ko malaman yung movie. And nagulat ako na itong si Michael Crichton na predict niya yung mga problems natin 20 years ago. Like forced diversity. Yun yung theme dito sa Disclosure eh. We're forcing diversity ngayon, yung affirmative action ng pag-hire ng women. So nagulat ako na may foresight siya on those topics. Kaya yun yung pinanood ko nung weekend. Pinanood ko yung Disclosure. Hindi yung hindi yung sex scene ni Demi Moore tsaka ni Michael Douglas yung Reason. So,
Pero yung movie
ayun.
niya hindi ganun kaganda no? Hindi ganun kaganda yung movie niya. Tama
Hindi
ba?
ganun kaganda yung movie.
Diba?
Hindi ganun
Hindi ganun kaganda yung movie
Pero yung
niya.
book, I suggest na basahin nyo. Maganda yung book.
Nice.
Maganda yung book.
Again,
Na-curious lang ako sa movie actually.
Going back dito, it's just a bunch of YouTubers coming together and talking about movies, series. Actually, dito ka na tinuloy yung Book of Boba Fett kasi ginagawa na nila may episodes na yung Book of Boba Fett nila with live commentary. So, mas natuwa ako dahil Book of Boba Fett itself, even yung unang episode talagang na lang ako. May mamaya papakita ko sa'yo after nito. Kasi may interview yun eh. But anyway, that's it for us.
Huwag mo spoil. Huwag mo spoil.
No, it's not spoiler. Tingnan mo na wala tuloy. Ayun. So, we're promoting Sir Jay's chat, which is the first conservative podcast.
Ayun, thanks. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem. So, Sir Jay,
Yep,
ano ninyo? Susunod na ninyo ayun sa atin? Ano yung susunod na interview ninyo or di-discuss niyo on your channel?
Nag-ready ako for nag-ready na ako for season ender. So siguro may 2 episodes na lang ako na i-release for season 3 and after that I'll take maybe a month-long break then prepare for season 4. Nakakapagod din tong pagpa-podcast actually. It takes a lot of energy. Kaya I would appreciate sa mga nakikinig nito if you could listen or subscribe sa The J Aruga Show. So I talk about conservatism and minsan nag-guest tayo ng recently mga foreign guest ang in-invite ko.
Yep.
Mga Catholic speakers and authors and na napapapayag naman kaya sa awa ng Diyos and they share their insights sa culture. So nandun sina Ralph Martin if you know him, si Gary Michuta, Trent Horn, Jason Everett. So yun yung mga previous guest, Katie Faust. So we talk about the conservative values. So marriage, family, sexuality, and why it works. So when I talk about the conservative values, you will ang isipin ng mga tao baka puro Bible verses, but in my podcast I try my best to give secular reasons on why these conservative values work. And sa Monday my episode is about same-sex marriage. So abangan niyo yan.
It's going to be a very
Nag-hold ako
spicy.
dun sa topic na yun because it will be very spicy. But give it a listen because I tried to give a secular reason why the best form of family is yung nuclear family. Ng man, woman, and children. So give it a listen and then tell me what you think, guys. So give it a chance.
Oh yeah,
Yun lang.
definitely give it a chance, people, because you won't get to learn something new if you don't give something a chance. And take it from me because I've been listening to a lot of his content recently, especially nagtatrabaho ako long hours. Back office
Thank
ako.
you.
Yep. Awesome stuff going on for you, Sergey. And I do wish you a lot of success moving forward. And also, hopefully, if people do find the courage to at least give it a try and also question themselves, because all of us, I think it's innate in us to challenge the norm and also challenge whatever rhetoric, whatever propaganda is being pushed towards us. And once we lose that critical thinking and also the option to judge I think we're slowly going into the realm of equilibrium or that totalitarian state nga sinasabi nila. And for me, siguro, it's the same. Actually, dapat meron akong ano bukas. May another live ako bukas with a few friends, pero I might push that back. I'll need to talk to them about it. But I do have something in store for February. And I'm going to watch another movie with a guest. Hindi ko pa alam kung ano yun. Siguro, a romantic movie naman for a change. Lagi na action, also horror ang pinapalabas dito. But that's
Wow.
it for me.
Di mo
Yeah,
ko
hope you...
invite dun sa, ano, sa rom-com.
Tignan natin, sir. Tignan natin. Ano pa eh, pinag-uusapan pa namin kasi ni, ano, sabihin ko na yung sino yung guest, si DJ Tina Ryan. Yung susunod ko magiging guest. Tinitignan pa namin kung ano. It
Oh,
might be a
wow.
romantic
Wow.
comedy. Yeah. Or either yun or baka mag-Korean horror kami. Hindi ko pa alam. Tignan ko pa kung ano siya. Kasi mangyayari doon live discussion siya habang pinapanood. So, yun ang gagawin ko. Yeah, nothing significant
Nice.
this weekend for me. Pahinga rin ako for a few days due to work. As in, sobrang pahinga until Tuesday. Visit Sir J's Facebook handle. Makikita nyo doon, gateway na yun para sa ano niya, content niya. And on my end, it's 0 hour discussions. You guys know that at this point, especially mga old viewers ko. If ever you get to listen to this podcast episode, just make sure then ano din yung ano, open din kayo what we said earlier. Again, siguro final thoughts for me, the movie is a good movie. Not a 10 out of 10, not even a 9 out of 10, probably a 7.5, but I could rate it as a 10, a 9, just because I enjoyed the action so much. So that's it for me. Anything that's going on with you guys this weekend? Gawin nyo lang, wash your hands, stay sanitized, check first with your doctor, consult a doctor regarding any vaccine talk. Don't take anything from any podcaster or any content creator na sabihin niya sa inyo magpa-vaccine kayo. This should be under the consent of you and also your doctor before you do anything medical wise. Take care, guys. Have a great evening. Happy Friday. And again, we are about to go away now.